guys. Welcome to our weekly wellness check. It's meant to just be friends getting together, having conversation about fitness, primarily Peloton, because most of us are Peloton riders and runners. But we talk about other fitness players as well, Tonal, Tempo, all the others. If you'd like to join the conversation, please don't feel any nerves about that. Just hit the hand in the lower right of your phone and we'll bring you right up on stage. If that makes you a little nervous and you really don't want to do that and you want to just kind of listen in, that's all cool too. Just hang out in the audience or get in the chat, type it all out. We'll be checking the chat as well too. So if you have any questions or comments that you want us to share, we'll read that and share what we see there. Please be courteous to, other people that are on stage. So if there are other people waiting to talk, if you can keep your comments to 2 to 3 minutes, and it'll ensure that we can get them in as well. But other than that, I guess we can kick it off.
It's not 2 to 3 minutes. John has a sound effect that he's going to hit that you haven't had to do yet.
No,
I must say.
No, I haven't.
Everyone's been on their best behavior. You haven't had to play your special sound effect.
No, I haven't had to hit any sound effects, none of that. And I spent all that time creating that sound effect.
Kind of disappointing because you spent a lot of time.
I spent all that time on that sound effect, and then I hadn't had to use it. But it's all good. It's all good.
It's like when you see the speed thing, like the little, there's a speed trap, you automatically slow down so then the cops don't ever catch anyone. So now that you've made the sounds, no one's going to talk over because they don't want to have the sound played. So
that's what it is.
Just lied about having a sound and it still would have worked.
But it is all.
I will volunteer to act up so y'all can do this.
Oh, Lord.
I don't care.
Oh, Lord.
If you want to hit your button, John, just let me know. I'll keep talking and just hit the button.
Let's see how long we can get before we need to enact the button. Let's try to keep everyone on the on point.
Cool. So, first topic is about Tammy and Danielle because Tammy and Danielle were in studio a week ago, right?
It was this time last week. I was screaming to all of you because I was so excited.
Exactly. And I think, Tammy, you were doing a Rebecca Kennedy class.
You better remember because you were on the class high-fiving me.
That's right. That's right.
And there was an output next to your name, so I know you did it. You weren't watching it.
That's right. I actually did that one. I was actually, well, I don't know that I was going, the speeds that, or with the inclines and all that.
Oh, she was saying. I was totally there for the experience, not for the workout.
Right. So, but I did it. And so, yeah, we want to hear about what was your experience like. We want to hear about Danielle. I know, Danielle, you did an alley class. So, yeah, Tammy, Danielle, we want to hear what's up. How was it? What did you like it?
Let's let Danielle go because this was Danielle's first Peloton ever experience where I feel like I've had the experience of going to both studios several times before. So I feel like I can speak to the differences.
Yep.
But I feel like Danielle as a first time Peloton experience, I feel like she should give her input.
Okay. That makes sense.
Okay. I had a blast.
Yeah.
The staff, the check-in staff, the people that were walking around to help you, they were all so nice and so incredible and just so helpful, making sure I could get in the locker that I picked and just super, super nice. And I remembered you guys saying that's how it was before that, the crew and everybody, not just the instructors, but, the people who do the actual work in the studio were incredible. So in my opinion, they're still incredible. So Tammy, I'll have to, say if it's the same or not, but everyone was so nice. So I took Allie's class. I was not on camera. There were a bunch of Love Squad people there. Talked to Allie's husband for a while after class. He's so funny and so nice. And I did not talk to Robin's husband other than for him to tell me that he liked my shirt because it was my Allie Love is my BFF. So he was like, yeah, she's my BFF too. That was kind of the most conversation we had, which I told him oh, that's cool. We can share her for today. But after today, she's only allowed to be my BFF. Her sister was there, her assistant, her manager. I think there's 39 bikes in there.
Okay.
You're definitely close. I sat next to one person who I know is like a sweater, like we're friends, and I'm like, oh my God, if you sweat on me, it's going to be on. So you are definitely close to people. If we were doing an arms class, I don't think that we'd be able to do it without touching each other. So yeah, bikes are pretty close. Yeah, I mean, it was really nice. It was a great experience. Allie was lovely. She is just as gorgeous in person. Like, you know, you see her pictures and you know that she's really pretty and her skin looks amazing and all that kind of stuff. And then you see her in person, like, damn, that's not a filter. That's not like, that's just her face. She's really just that pretty and flawless in person. Who else was there? Emma is so tiny. She's also really gorgeous.
They all have this like sparkle about them. Like as attractive as they are on screen, when you see them in person, you're almost just like enamored. You're like, oh my, like they're that beautiful, but times 100.
Yeah, like it was shocking. Not that I didn't think that they weren't beautiful in person, but you know, you just
No, they just like have like a certain glow, like a certain sparkle, and it's not the pregnancy glow. It's a whole other separate glow. But
you're just like, wow.
And we're sure it's not the pregnancy glow. We're sure it's not that.
Not the pregnancy glow.
Not the pregnancy glow.
Okay. I just make sure. I just checking. Okay.
The facility itself is beautiful. It's so like clean and airy and bright, and there's so many places to sit and like hang out and just chill and talk to friends. And then you go upstairs and got the concierge desk, and they had vegan cookies and gluten-free cupcakes and cold pressed juices and parfaits and chia pudding and all kinds of crazy stuff.
So that's the part too that I'm not sure. So in the past, nothing at the studio was complimentary other than the water. And then even towards the end, they stopped giving out complimentary water bottles, and they said, you know, bring your own bottle, and they put in the refill stations. So I don't know, like that whole spread that they put out. Plus they put out swag bags, which had some decent stuff in there. I mean, there were towels. There were it was like a hat, like a lightweight hat that you could wear like outside to run or cycle, and like a belt in a cute little tote bag. Like I don't know if that was just for the soft launch or if they plan to keep those amenities going forward when you know it's the full launch.
Yeah, I was wondering that because I know that like some people still got invites for this week, but they also opened it up so people were able to book it last week, because I guess they opened it while we were in the building. They opened the bookings and then they were like booked out, but people who were already invited. So I'm like, I wonder if those people get the same swag that we got, or are they like done with that? Because that could add up.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when you mentioned that. Yeah, that could start to calculate.
Yeah, and this was like some gourmet juice. Like I had some watermelon mint infused or something, you know.
Yeah, I had ginger, apple, something cold pressed, like really bougie.
This stuff is sounding way too healthy. This stuff is sounding way too healthy. You know, I feel like I'm at home and Erica's dictating what we eat. Like, this is way too far. They ain't had no burgers and fries or nothing?
No.
There's
no burgers and fries.
I'm sitting there reading in the comments. Courtney said, so maybe it's not the water that's getting them pregnant. Maybe it's the vegan cookies. I hope y'all didn't eat those.
But, well, I did. I ate a cookie. The cookies are good. And literally everything had Peloton on it. They even put Peloton on the napkins. Like, they had Peloton printed on everything. The cookies, the cupcakes, the napkins, the little boxes that the parfaits were in. Like, Peloton was on everything except the juice bottles. Because the juices were from whatever company they got them from.
So I got a question. So if it's 30...
and then I'm going to tell you what's different.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. Maybe if there's 39 bikes in the studio, that's a good, I don't know, 13, 14, something like that. Less than it used to be. So now I'm trying... And if you're still tight, I'm now wondering, is the room just smaller? But I guess... I don't know. I guess Tammy. Well, you weren't in the bike studio.
No, so I didn't get to go in the bike studio, so I don't know. I don't know what the dimensions look like from inside. But
Yeah.
in terms of the tread studio, it did look a little bit smaller. So just kind of going into differences overall, like, I know some of you saw, like I posted, I did an Instagram live that night. So for those of you who've heard this, I'm sorry. The whole, arriving and getting situated in your class is much different now. It used to be you could pretty much show up anytime before the class started, and even you could be on the wait list, and even 5 minutes after a class started, if there was room left, the staff would open the door and kind of like shuffle you into a tread or a bike that was in the back. And, if you watch closely, like you might even be able to kind of see that in some of the old studio classes. But for this, it was very clear that if you were not there, within 30 minutes prior to class time, that you would be shut out. They actually requested you to be there 45 minutes. They did ask for a copy. The email did say to make sure you bring your COVID vaccine card. I know they did check Danielle's. They did not ask for mine. But I know they did ask for most people's. I don't know how I got by, but I did. And then as you're waiting, they start making an announcement like 5 to 10 minutes before that 30-minute mark. So my class started at 7:30, and at about 6:50, they said, if you're here for Rebecca Kennedy's class, please gather around studio number 4. We will open the doors in 5 minutes. You'll have 5 minutes to get into the class, and then the doors will remain shut. So at the 30-minute mark prior, you needed to be lined up. We just kind of ushered in one by one. For this, we were not pre-assigned like you are in the normal registration, where you can go in and you can pick your bike and your tread. For this, it was just they just kind of pointed us, and we went in single file and just lined up with each available one. The tread studio, if you've been to it before, the old studio had these pillars in the room, and some of the treads had partially obscured views. And the same studio, like they built it the same way. So John Pruitt, who a lot of you know, he ended up on a tread that he really couldn't see Rebecca, and they waited, and then there was one open, and they finally moved him. So there's 2 treads that are in a pretty shitty spot. If I had to pay, I would be upset if those were my treads.
That seemed a little different. I remember the pillars in the last tread studio, but I never felt like there were any that were so obstructive that you couldn't see the instructor. Are these worse than those were at the last tread studio? Or no?
I remember initially at the tread studio, they rearranged them.
Yeah.
So that then they weren't as obstructed as they initially were thought. But here, the treads are all facing the same orientation. And in the old tread studio, they were all kind of some were facing head on, some, you had a perpendicular view. And the treads are pretty close. Like they're probably only about 18 inches, max 2 feet apart. Like I definitely would be able to put my hand out and touch the person next to me. So for that reason, I don't think you could do a boot camp in this class with the space that they have.
Wow. Okay.
I think unless you were going to put your mat directly behind your tread, which again, I don't know how that would be from a viewing perspective, but there's no room to put your mat in front of the tread or adjacent to the tread. You would just have to put it directly behind. But once you kind of get in, you're kind of locked in there. And they kind of even said, if you have to use the restroom, please, go now. So that 30 minutes you're there, plenty of people walking around. They're asking, if you need help logging on, do you need help familiarizing yourself with the tread? And then about 10 minutes before the scheduled start time, I think is when they start kind of coming on and hyping you up, and the instructor gets a grand old announcement. They tell you to make noise. You get to hear the audiovisual team actually come on the speakers from overhead, and they announce what they're doing and that they're doing sound checks and taking shots in different camera angles, and that, you never heard any interaction from the control room in the old studios. I mean, you knew that they were there, but they didn't interact with you in class.
Right.
But probably the biggest change. So come in, class is 20 minutes. As usual, the instructor had has always been escorted out first. You're asked to stay in your place, that there'll be an opportunity to take pictures. But they made some very clear rules regarding pictures. And in the past, in the old studios, you used to be able to just hand a staff member your phone. You would wait in line. You'd kind of line up. And as you got to the front, you would pass your cell phone off to a staff member. You'd pose with the instructor. They would take pictures with your iPhone. They'd hand you back your cell phone, and you went on your way. This time, they said, please do not take any pictures with your personal phone. We will have a staff member who will take photos for you. They had a professional-looking camera. They said you'll be emailed your pictures at the end of the day. Please keep your conversations to a minimum. We want to keep the line moving, and no touching of the instructors.
Okay.
So obviously that is kind of very different. That being said,
So how do you get your pictures?
So what we ended up doing, we lined up, and
Tammy just took my phone and took pictures for mine.
Yeah, so what everyone just did was, instead of handing your phone to the staff member, you would just hand your phone to the person behind you or in front of you online. And so they had the professional photographer there taking pictures, but everyone still just passed their phone off to another member. And the staff didn't really seem to enforce it. Like, no one came by and said, no, please, we told you no cell phones. Like, they seemed to allow it.
Why would they? Yeah, I'm wondering, why would they care? Yeah, I got you.
I don't know. And then they seem to also just, I think, follow the instructor's kind of behavior. So if the instructor was hugging, they didn't say anything about it. But I've heard, so Rebecca was very much one to give hugs and but she was affectionate, and that's the type of person she is. But I've heard from other people, some other instructors, it was more of a, keeping personal space and personal distance. So what I gather from that is, I think it's just up to every instructor to really just kind of figure out how much personal space they feel is appropriate. But the staff didn't step in to kind of break up, like, hey, you've been hugging, like, separate,
And before we did Allie's, they said it's up to Allie's discretion whether or not you can touch her, because they said she may not want to be touched, so just be mindful. But they didn't say no touching. They just said respect whatever Allie wants to do. So everybody before me, no one was hugging her, and no one was getting super close. So I didn't hug her, but like, if you look at like parts of the video, we are
She
so
probably
awkward.
knew you weren't a hugger, Danielle.
But if parts of it look like we look so awkward, because we look like we want to hug, and then we're like, okay, well, I don't know if she's hugging. I don't know if she's hugging. Like, and so then afterwards, I was like, someone else hugged her afterwards. I was like, if I had known you were hugging, I would have totally hugged you. And she was like, come back. Are you still here? I'll hug you. But I didn't see it until later on.
Yeah, like it was very, very weird. It's like, I mean, you could just tell that like we live in this post-pandemic world where everyone was just kind of going up and like not really sure, like, do I high five? Do I fist pump? Do I like rub elbows? Like, how much space is appropriate? Like, it was very awkward.
I feel like this whole thing's going to have to evolve, right? First, in the early days, there was no security person standing there taking phones, taking pictures of people, right? It was like, that's how we did it. It's like the member had a phone, and the member handed their phone to somebody who then took the picture. It could be anybody standing around. And then eventually they evolved to, there's the security person sitting there. Okay, give that person your phone as you walk up, and that person will take the picture for you. Now it sounds like they're attempting to just say, well, we'll take the picture for you, but everyone else has just kind of reverted back to where we all started. Well, I'm just going to hand my phone to somebody else.
You get the pictures at the end of the day, like they promised, but you get a picture, you get everyone's individual picture of them with the instructor. So, I mean, I didn't care for myself, but, I know some people are very sensitive about, who has access to their photos. And I just felt like it probably would have been nicer if they would have just sent me my personal photo instead of sending me everybody's one-on-one photos.
I mean, what if it's a bad picture?
They also said that the pictures could...
Exactly. I don't want
the pictures could only be individual. You couldn't take group pictures. So theoretically, if Danielle and I were there together and we wanted a picture with Allie, they said that they would have discouraged it, that it could only be single pictures.
Lots of people took group pictures with Allie.
Yeah, but they
Like there was
said
a
that
couple that took pictures. All of us from Love Squad took a picture with her.
I know, but I don't know what you were told in your class, but we were told in our class no group pictures.
Another
Oh, they
reason,
didn't
But
mention
again,
anything about
everyone
groups.
did it.
another reason I think that this is all kind of evolved. It sounds like they're just kind of figuring it out. Like I don't know how you can have certain classes, certain instructors where you make it kind of an optional. If she wants to hug, she wants to touch, then she can, and then the next person. I don't know if you could persist that kind of standard. Because what if it's an instructor or a person that just doesn't feel comfortable telling these people, no, don't touch me? Like it seems like you'd have to have like a very strict kind of whatever the rule is what the rule is. So I'm thinking that, and now this that you're talking about, like group pictures versus non-group pictures, it seems so loose. Like I feel like they're going to have to adjust those two things. No, you think?
I
So
think
it'll be interesting, I think, for the people who are going, like coming up to see if all of those rules that they wanted to be in place when Danielle and I went, like, do they start taking more proactive measures, to limit the personal cell phone picture taking and, really emphasizing the personal distance? Because I think they thought they had all their bases covered and like it just all went out the window. And partly it was the instructors too. Like they didn't even follow the instructions. So
Right. That's because it's a tough thing to do. That's why I'm thinking like if you're going to align to something like you'd have to take the instructor out of the equation and someone else kind of just mandate this is what it is. Like it just feels like they would have to get there. Like I don't know, maybe I'm just making something up. Anyway, I got a question though, but let me bring in Sonia before I get to that. What's going on, Sonia? You there, Sonia? All right, that's all right. I'll just go ahead and ask my question. So someone else asked it in the chat. If you don't have enough room between the treads to do a boot camp, then where do they do boot camps? Is there some other studio?
So they are not yet doing boot camps with studio members, and there's no plan to do them in the immediate future. All of the classes that have been opened up to members, none of them have been boot camps. It's only pure tread classes. So just the walks, the hikes, the runs, no boot camp. And I
Gotcha.
know when I did do my Instagram live and Rebecca did jump on, there was something else that was different when somebody who had gone to one of Maddie's classes told me that beforehand they kind of had to do a dry run of the whole strength class. So I thought that was just normal. So I thought they were going to make us do the hike class twice, but Rebecca clarified that they do it. They do some of the moves ahead of time before the class starts so that the crew can figure out the right camera angles to get. So that might be another reason why maybe the boot camp is not being done in a live studio member audience is, between the space concerns, I guess the AV, visual blocking. I mean, because now there's so many more cameras in the studio too. That's the other big difference. I mean, it used to just be the bike studio. I think, there was, I don't remember if there was one or three jump, but I remember it would like rove back and forth, like in a semicircle, and you always knew which camera was on because it
Right.
had the red dot.
Yep.
And the tread studio always had more. But now, I mean, you can tell even just by the production quality of the classes and the different angles that they shoot the instructor. Like there's got to be like 6 to 8 cameras in there.
Well, all I know is whenever I did a boot camp in studio, I was straight fronting. So maybe it wasn't just me. Maybe it was a whole bunch of people up there in there faking. So they just were like, you know what, we about to cut this out. Because I was straight faking.
if they're, I was going to say, if they're going to do bike boot camps, they'd have to do them in a completely different space, or they'd have to take bikes out. You can, like, if that's where they were going to do bike boot camps, I mean, is that where they teach them from? Because that seems so small, even with them, like, I don't even know how they teach them from there, if that's where they teach from. It just seems so tiny to have, like, weights and be moving around and stuff like that. So,
yeah, it sounds like that stuff.
the other thing I thought was cool that neither one of us mentioned was you can see, like, is that, like, the production area, Tammy, that's, like, in the concierge, where you can see all the cameras?
Yeah, I saw at least 2 control rooms. I would imagine that there's 4, one for each studio, but there's at least 2 that are visible. And it's, it's behind glass. So you can look in as they're doing live and you can see all the different shots that that they see on the different monitors. It's pretty cool.
Hey,
Yeah, it was really cool. It was like when you like watch a show and they show you like, if you're watching like Live with Kelly and they go to the back room where they've got, the screens and they're looking at the production from that side. It was really cool to see.
Candace said, I think the boot camps are in a different studio in the chat. Yeah, that's what I thought at first too, Candace, but Tammy saying that they said there was no plans to do boot camps.
I mean, it looks. I mean, the room that I was in looks like the room that boot camps are filmed from. It's the same kind of semicircle setup of the treads. Oh my God, they're saying now in the chat too, is this Peloton is going to do rapid tests? Sorry, I'm just getting like my ADD here.
Oh, are you serious?
Hold on, pause. Do you have a button? Breaking news.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
I don't have any breaking news pause, but I just have like
this just in.
When I got like the bell dinger, that's all I got. I ain't got nothing else. Okay,
I know. I mean, as a New York resident, I can attest to the fact that COVID has blown up over the past week in New York.
But wait a minute, hold on. Before we get to that, I want to talk about that. Before we get to that, let me bring Sonia.
Okay.
What's going on, Sonia? Sorry, I couldn't get back to you. What's happening?
Sorry, I didn't know my mic was off.
Oh, no worries.
Okay, so jumping back to Ali's ride. So when it was done and we were all lining up to take pictures with Ali, she asked when it got to I think it was after Danielle walked back, she said, "Oh, I want to take a group picture." And she looked at the person who was taking the camera, or who was taking the picture, sorry. And she says, "I know these riders, they've been riding with us for a while, so I want to take a group picture," which made me think that it sounded like she was asking sort of permission,
Yeah, gotcha.
or just telling them this is what I want to do,
Gotcha.
I missed that part. I didn't hear that.
Okay.
So you're talking about when we did our Love Squad picture?
Yes, the Love Squad picture. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that makes
sense then. If they said no group pictures, that
Yeah.
it was Ali who asked for it then.
Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. Yeah, I still like. Yeah, I'm wondering like how do you make it sometimes on, sometimes off? Like it seems like it would have to be a strict rule or no rule. Like I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be tricky because some people will follow the rules and some wouldn't, How can you tell someone to take a picture and somebody else, no, I'm not doing a group picture?
Yeah,
that's not going to happen.
Yeah, and how you put that weight on these other instructors' heads, where these other ones are allowing it, and then, I don't know. I think it is or it isn't. Which one is it?
Exactly.
I mean, I don't know. I kind of think with COVID, it's like everything. It's like, what's to your comfort level? So if I'm not comfortable in a group setting or taking a picture with a bunch of people, I don't know why I would be at the studio because you are tight as hell in there. But so that's first off. But I mean, if I wasn't comfortable, I'm just like, I'm not taking group pictures. But I mean, I kind of think that's what everyone has to do these days with COVID. Like, you got to play to your comfortability. Like, are you okay going here without a mask?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I don't know.
Are you okay hugging?
The last difference that there is, and then I know Stephanie wants to say something, is it's definitely not the same intimate setting that a lot of you who have gone to the prior studios are used to. Like, it's much more of like an assembly line. You're going from this area, okay, now you're going here, and okay, don't take too long on this line. I mean, don't get me wrong, everyone is polite and courteous, and the customer service is great, but it doesn't have that same level of intimacy that it used to have.
Gotcha.
And just to piggyback off of that, I noticed when Ali was on her live, her husband came in the back and she was like, "Oh my God, how'd you get back here?" She was like, "He's never allowed back here. Like, they don't let him back here. How'd you get back here?" She's like, "This is a first." So, and we watched them like escort her off and into a separate door, where like, we couldn't go to. And there was like security walking her through. And once she was out of the line. And, so I guess that adds to the lack of intimacy and much more structured things that happen when class is over.
Cool. Yeah, I got some more questions, but let me pull some people in. What's going on, Nisi?
Hi, Unc. I just wanted to answer some questions because I like miraculously, like truly from the seat of my pants, got into Marcel's class tomorrow for the
Okay.
Lizzo run.
Okay.
True, like a stroke of like God's fate. Because what? And so I was on the wait list, and I got an email from Peloton like with the rules. Right? They were like, "We did updated rules," and I was like, "Get here." 60 minutes before, we are offering rapid tests on site, and they're like alternatively you can provide a PCR test that's within the last, I think,
Okay,
the
hold up.
24 to 48
Okay,
hours.
hold up.
Whoa.
Time out. Hold up.
So the
So,
testing
so,
is
so
mandatory?
wait a minute. They're like, so they've changed it so that now when you show up, if you ain't got no card and you ain't got no proof, they'll do a rapid test right there.
I literally got this email at 6 p.m., right? It says, below are our guidelines. With a very busy studio tomorrow, we are taking additional safety measures. Important changes from original email confirmation. All members will be required to have a rapid negative COVID test. Rapid tests will be provided complimentary on site upon arrival. Results will take 15 minutes, so early arrival is critical.
Oh, snap.
Alternatively,
Wow.
you may bring a lab certified negative test result from a test taken within 24 hours of the class.
Oh, snap.
PCR tests are not required, but home tests will not be accepted.
So sounds like, I think that was one of the questions in here about the fact that New York City now health advisory is that any indoor anything you should be wearing masks. So like to me that was like something is increased with regards to the thought around COVID in New York City, and we were asking, well, what is that going to change about the studio? Is that there going to be any effect to the studio? Sounds like
I don't
that's the
know. I
effect,
think
right? That's the effect.
and I think too, like after Steph's experience tomorrow, like we'll see if she has the same experience that Danielle and I had in terms of like how close we were to the instructors, and we were allowed to congregate after class like as long as we wanted. So I'm curious. Next week you'll have to let us know.
Oh yeah.
How much has actually changed in 7 days.
Oh yeah,
And it
Nisi,
sounds like a lot.
yeah, you're gonna have to let us know, Nisi. It sounds like it's switched up.
I'm curious.
Emergency
So if that's
clubhouse
just
tomorrow night.
I'm I was gonna say I'm curious if it's
Oh.
because she was on the wait list though,
No,
and not an initial.
I got in for the so I got my invitation on Tuesday, and I got to pick between the ride, the bike, or the yoga, and I ranked them, and I got in for Robin's class. Then they said they were going to send a confirmation on Wednesday. Then they changed and said, matter of fact, the time of the class is changing to 12 o'clock, and we'll send a confirmation the next day. Or they said they were going to send it Tuesday. They sent it Wednesday. And then I got my email at 5:04 that says because it's a 2-for-1 ride, that's why they were doing the rapid test. So they sent out slightly different versions of the email to say like why they're doing the rapids, but
Gotcha.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, maybe it's a one-off. I don't know. Okay. Well, we'll see.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. Yeah, it sounds like based on the way that was written, if I got that right, it doesn't matter.
2-for-1 just means that there's one more person in the class, one additional instructor.
That's it.
There's
Right.
no additional members.
Right.
You better
Right.
say that, Tammy.
Yeah, I know. Watching prizes, I don't know.
The math ain't mathin'.
And Steph got into the run where there's just one instructor.
Yeah, that's like so. Mine said that. Hers said something else. I don't know which one is which, but we'll see when we get there tomorrow. I was planning on getting there early, and I'm just crazy like that. But now they definitely said you have to be there an hour, not the 45 minutes, not the 30 or anything like that.
So one more thing on this. So am I translating this right? Basically, it don't matter if you've been vaccinated or not. You gonna have to bring this 24-hour test, or we gonna do a test right now. That's it. Do I have this right?
Yep.
Do you think they're testing the instructors too before they come in and teach? I mean, like, well, what's the standard here? And the staff members, are they all subjected to a rapid daily when they come into work?
I would bet they are. I have friends that work like on Broadway and they have to test like on a regular basis. So I would assume that Peloton is testing their staff on a regular basis regardless.
I
don't know.
I don't know either. Tammy, you getting too deep with it. You getting too deep. I don't know if that's really. But okay.
I mean, I am a healthcare person by background.
Yeah, but that's interesting. But yeah, okay, Nisi, let us know what happens. We gonna be interested. We gonna be looking forward to hear how your experience is. That's interesting stuff. It makes sense. It makes sense that things would be changing, based on what the health officials are saying in NYC. So yeah, well, cool. I guess we should move on to the next topic. Although I still got questions on this one. But well, actually, before we move
Wait,
on,
you
Oh,
missed
wait,
Shelly.
there is one other thing I wanted to let y'all know
okay.
because for folks who might be discouraged about being on the wait list, they said, like in the original email to me, they're like, we're sending you this message because you're in our wait list for tomorrow's class. Would you like to join our standby list? This isn't a guarantee you'll be booked, but you'll still be able to enjoy the studio and take a pic with the instructor. If it's a yes, please respond to this email. And obviously I said yes. So apparently being on the wait list is good enough to get into the studio. Like I don't actually have to die on the treadmill. I get to curse myself out regardless.
Well, Steph, the positivity rate of COVID in New York State right now is 12%. So there's 12% of the people who are enrolled in tomorrow's test. There's a chance that there's a spot that's going to open up. Like one in
Tammy,
10 is
don't
going
say
to test
that.
positive.
I have to go. Please, I'm managing my anxiety on a daily basis about it because like anything is now looking to be a symptom of COVID, and so I'm trying to be like positive in mindset, not positive on my COVID tests.
You'll be fine.
You'll be good.
I know Shelly's been waiting.
Yeah, what's going on,
And Steph
Shelly?
deserves to get beat down by
Yeah.
Marcel.
Well, just quickly, I'm thinking that in New York City, it's 18% is the positivity rate. So I can understand why they're testing. I'm just wondering if COVID gets more out of hand, are they going to close the studio down again? Or all of a sudden, if a couple people get sick, to me, that would be the concern.
Yeah, I don't know if they would do that or not, but my question was like a broad question. It was just if the health officials are saying all these things about masks indoor, I was like, what are the effects going to be to the policies and standards at the studio? Like, are they going to be gradual, and what are they going to be? Are we going to all of a sudden see things like we just heard, the rapid test, and then all of a sudden requirements for masks when you're in certain classes or in certain locations? Like, what is going to be the evolution? Like, right? And I know you kind of taking like the drastic end, like, oh, are they going to shut down? But I'm like asking just all the in between. Is anything going to happen? Like what's the that was one of the questions.
And my other question is it still only by invitation that you have to get an email inviting you, or are people able to write and try to sign up for a class?
You are able to sign up for a class. I got in
Yeah,
there
they
to
opened
check the
bookings last
website.
week.
Oh, okay. So then I have one other question. I had like about $400 worth of credits when the studio closed. Are they keeping those? Do you get that back, or is that like just crap to the wind?
Check your account because it depends on what kind of credits you have. I know that Jess Minardi had credits from like when because she's an OG. She's been a member since like 2016.
Yeah.
And apparently they used to like give you free studio class credits back in the day. And she has class credits from then. So I don't know what the expiration date is on the class credits you bought, but log into your studio account and see if they are not expired.
Which takes me to
clearly
yeah.
they were good for 6 months, but the studio's been closed for close to.
Right.
And I was going to say, Jess's credits, when she told us the expiration date, it was way out. Like, she had a long time to redeem those. And I was like, oh, that's great. Because one, she had a ton of them. And two, she lives in Cali, not in New York anymore. So I was like, oh, well, that's good. Because you have a long time to use them. So I would definitely check your account and see what it says.
Okay, great. Because I was under the impression that you couldn't enroll yet. So that's great to know. So that's exciting.
Which gets to another question that's in the chat. I know Leslie asked, like, how do you go about signing up for classes? Leslie, I think it's studio.onepeloton.com. You guys let me know if I got that wrong, but I think that's.
And the
I
other
think
thing
that's
I'm just
right.
curious about too, I mean, I don't know if I'm just wearing my COVID ICU hat too long now, is in the event that somebody afterwards finds out that they test positive the following day, I mean, what are the requirements in terms of, Peloton having to do contact tracing and reporting that to the DOH to do official contact tracing?
We doing that still? Like, I don't know. Yeah, those are the questions, right?
You know, I mean, because it certainly is close contact.
Yeah, but they are
I don't.
doing contact tracing still for COVID. So I know if you were to say, if they asked where you were and you said you were at the Peloton studio,
Oh, damn God, it'll get shut down.
yeah,
Say you were anywhere else.
else.
I mean, granted, I'm not in New York, but they kind of changed contact tracing here in Pennsylvania, at least with the schools. They were very much relaxed with it as, you know, as time went on. In the beginning, they were like, someone in the 8th grade had COVID, and we just want to let you know that your child may have been exposed. And then it was like, then there was no contact tracing at all. My kids would come and be like, oh, such and such got COVID. That's why they weren't in school. I'm like, well, did you see, like, were you near them? Like, what happened? They're like, oh, we had lunch together. And I'm like, how come no one told me? So I don't know what it's like now.
Leslie,
So
I
I
think
know
that one
for
Peloton
us
is one word.
as like healthcare workers in New York State, it's defined as exposure of less than 6 feet for greater than 15 minutes. That's considered exposure for healthcare workers in New York State.
And I think that's the same thing they were using for schools. So if they were in a space where they were considered to be outside, or they weren't necessarily 6 feet, you know, less than 6 feet next to each other, then they didn't have to notify you.
Cool. All right, let's move on. I know we done killed this one, but yeah, I mean, this interesting stuff. I can't wait to see what's going on with it next week. Nisi, let us know. Let us know how it goes down. But yeah, this is some interesting stuff. What do we have next? The rower. So I hear that there was an interview with, like, who, I can't remember who it was, with a C-level official with regards to Peloton, talking about the fact that we were getting out of, Peloton's getting out of the business of in-house manufacturing. And in that interview, he mentions that they're still on track for this rower. So, I mean, Danielle, it looks like, I guess you getting your rower, I guess.
Listen, I posted in a group. I said, you naysayers, be quiet. My rower is still coming. Keep all your negativity to yourself. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, and we have been hearing it's been being said for a while that it's to drop August, or we're supposed to hear something about it August. It's supposed to drop September, October timeframe, or something like that, like we've been hearing for the last couple of months. But so it's good to hear, more news that just kind of aligns to the fact that what we've been hearing still is the case. I can't wait to see how it all plays out. Like, when it drops, what's the demand for it? What are the classes like? Is it comparable to Hydro? Who are the instructors teaching those rowing classes? I'm really excited to see. Are there going to be people who just, become app subscribers simply to use the Peloton rowing content on a different rower? Is the content that level content from a rowing perspective? I got all kinds of questions. I can't wait to see how this all plays out, And then also, the last thing for me, I'm still wondering is, I don't think Hydro has all that many subscribers. So is this going to be a dynamic where, because it's Peloton, everybody has kind of like the FOMO, and let's say, I'm making up the number, let's say Hydro has 200,000 subscribers, but because there's so much FOMO from a Peloton perspective, they're able to get 500,000 people to buy a rower, so they instantaneously, have more rowers out there than Hydro. Does that happen? Right? I'm all interested in how this plays out. But at least they're going to have one, because you're getting one, right, Danielle? They're going to have at least one. I'm taking it. I don't know that I'm going to get one. I don't know. I got to see this whole thing.
They're going to have at least me.
They're going to have at least Danielle.
It might just be me by myself. But listen, it's all good.
I don't know if everybody else is like, rower? They might be tired of hearing about rowers by now. I don't know. But I can't wait to see.
I'm still convinced that for the people who are Peloton but also go to Orange Theory or used to go to Orange Theory, I think they're going to pull them in. I think if they come out with like a combo class that works it all in together, I really think they're going to be able to pick up those Orange Theory people who don't want to be back in person or who already have a Peloton and we're like, oh my gosh, this is the piece I was missing. Because Orange Theory people are like diehards, most of them. They're very much like Peloton people are. So if you can give them an option where they are like partially in the Peloton world, but debating on going back to the Orange Theory world, and you give them that rower, I really think Peloton has like a good shot of like doing some great things.
I hope you're right. I'm interested to see, because anything that can like spark, more interest in the brand and their products, and anything that could, I'm most interested in anything that can boost subscriptions. Like, I don't know if this can do that and what this would really do there, but if you can like pull in people that do Orange Theory and people that aren't currently in the ecosystem, then yeah, that'd be nice. But yeah, we'll see. All right. I'll move on past that, unless anybody has any other topics on the rower. Cool.
But I was just going to say, I think it'll be just fine, John. And you can't think about buying a rower until you buy the stepper. So just
oh Lord.
Think about the rower.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Well, I don't know if I can get a rower anyway. Even if I wanted to get a rower, my mindset has gotten to this place of how many pieces of hardware am I going to buy and throw them into that one room? Like, I don't know. Now I'm in the Uncle Barry mindset now. Like, how many pieces of hardware do I really want to have lying around here? You know what I mean?
Just make sure there's room for the Stairmaster.
Oh, don't say that. See, it's a good thing Erica ain't on.
You have a huge house. Oh, Erica's not on?
No, my dad flew in and surprised me. And so she's hanging out with him. They're watching movies right now.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so it's all
oh my gosh, John, you could have totally canceled us.
No, it's all good. Yeah, they're out there. They've been, my dad and Erica are very similar in that they love like series that you can watch over and over, like the Netflix stuff, and they love that stuff. Whereas me, I don't sit still long enough to watch a whole one episode. So it's perfect. They've got this series they want to watch, and they're like just binge watching right now. It's like perfect. So it's all good.
I see that Mike is up on the stage, and he was just in the chat talking about the rower is dead. So I don't know if we should let Mike actually talk.
What's going on?
Mike don't get to talk.
What's going on, Mike? What's up with the rower, Mike?
I'm not sure you ever let me talk. I think I pissed a bunch of people off with my comment about the social media post. So let me address that first.
Okay.
Like that was the most divisive post I've ever done.
Wait a minute. Which post? Which post?
So you're in his DMs. I'm high-fiving him on the leaderboard. We're not the same.
Oh, yeah.
I posted that. You go,
oh, yeah. I remember that one.
So I don't think people understood the genesis of my comment. And my issue was that I don't understand the marketing strategy. So yes, I'm old. I don't get the meme. That's fine.
Yeah.
Make fun of me. But situational awareness with the stock price and everything else, I did not think it was well timed. That was my issue. It wasn't like whether I grokked the meme or not. It was, did the marketing team really understand where the stock price, investor sentiment is, etc.?
Okay.
That was my issue, and no one got that. And I'm pretty disappointed with some of the DMs and comments I got, but whatever.
I missed all the comments on that one, so my bad. I missed all that. But this is perfect. This is perfect segue into the next two agenda topics, because so the new Peloton ad campaign comes out this morning, and what's the guy's name? Christopher Maloney.
Chris Maloney.
And
so Chris Keller on Oz. If you watched Oz on HBO in the early 2000s, so I was a huge fan of the show. Yeah. So I actually commented positively in the thread. Like, I liked it. It was National Nude Day, which I knew nothing of, thankfully.
I know. I learned about that today, that it was National Nude Day. Not that I would have done anything different had I known earlier, but I just learned today. That's right.
Yeah,
I was going to say, John, you better watch out.
My wife's like, you're not riding the Peloton bike nude, are you? I'm like, no. But I think that was a bold, innovative experience, or ad campaign versus what I commented on.
Well, that's
And
what
I
I
think
want to ask you about. That's what I want to ask you about.
Yeah, go ahead.
So,
Sure.
I kind of saw that ad campaign and the last two social media posts somewhat kind of in alignment, in that it feels like they're all of a sudden trying to go this comedy route with a little twinge of current day pop culture. Like it's like a new marketing scheme. No? In all of them. No?
Yes, you're absolutely correct. I keep telling y'all that they are catering toward a new market, the younger people who don't have Peloton. And younger people get these memes. Sometimes I be a little slow on the uptake, but my kids help me out.
I don't know if it's a younger demographic. I'm not sure. I just was thinking it's an idea that if you get something that creates some type of noise and talk, then the noise and talk is good regardless of good or bad.
So let me try to defend myself on this controversial post I had about the tweet. I was frustrated as an investor because I didn't think that engaged relevant potential Peloton buyers. I think maybe the Chris Maloney thing bridged that gap. And maybe I'm a marketer, so maybe Dara and team have a better strategy than I do about that. So I'm willing to acquiesce on that. But if I take them as an island, the meme that only millennials understood didn't make sense to me. And if I'm an old man, get off my lawn, I'm willing to back off on that.
I think
so. I just want to
go ahead.
say there's a difference though, because one was a tweet and one was more of an ad campaign where they actually took time to film and put together content. Those are two completely different things. They're not the same.
No, but there should be a common thread between all of this.
Yeah,
that's my issue. They should not be disparate. Like,
okay, yeah.
Some of the humor is lost on some people, so that removes the commonality from my perspective as an old man.
Yeah, and I kind of agree with kind of both of those things. I think that they're all of it is somewhat of some type of an intent to advertise, right? So I think that they're probably trying to align it all in some way. But I was the same way. I didn't get the tweet. I saw people laughing, but I didn't know what it was all about. It took me a good 4 or 5 hours, and I had to ask Jasmine before I knew what the tweet was about. I didn't know.
Okay, what did the tweet mean? Because I'm old, and I have no idea what that tweet meant.
See, you in the same bucket with me and Mike.
Good question. I still have no idea what it means. I will reveal my naivety. Like, I have no idea what it means.
It's basically saying, like, people are wasting time sliding into other people's DMs, whether it's instructors, other members, whoever, and we're on the leaderboard high-fiving them. Like, we're doing the work that you should be doing while you're sliding into DMs. So, therefore, we are not the same. I'm working and you're sliding into DMs.
You were hired as the social media manager. Go for it.
Or the interpreter.
Great explanation, Danielle.
I'm being dead serious.
I saw it more as once I heard it. I saw it more as like that, like the side friend comment to the actual boyfriend or girlfriend. Does that make sense? Like, or vice versa.
The meme that I think Chuck Lai posted, the meme of I'm looking back at the girlfriend while I'm walking with my current girlfriend.
Right.
But let's move on. This is not productive. But let's move on.
It's funny though, and I'm reading the comments, and Megan is dying laughing. That's why it's funny.
And I think I didn't see any nasty comments to Michael in the thread, so I didn't see those. But all the ones I saw, I just thought were funny.
So if I said nasty, I apologize.
No, you didn't say nasty. You just said people were sliding into your DMs or whatever, and So I missed all those.
But I think I acquiesced to the Chris Maloney stuff today. I'm like, Chris Keller from Oz. We've already seen his junk. It's not surprising. He's already done this. There's a brilliant ad. But let's move forward to something, because I don't want to get John's sound before I run out of my time.
Be able to use it again. All right, cool. Let me bring Courtney in. What's going on, Courtney?
No, so John,
Go ahead.
just
Go ahead,
seriously,
Mike.
just I said the Peloton rower will be canceled.
Yeah.
I don't think it will be. I think it'll be a flop. I don't think it'll be canceled. So
Yeah.
let me change that. And why I say it's going to be canceled is because this change from Rexon to Tonic to Peloton commercial / Precor, I'm not sure what they do.
Yeah, I don't. That I'm all confused about all these things. I mean, just kind of merge the what they say that their intent is around content, what they did with the Rexon deal, the fact that we're rolling out another piece of huge hardware. Like I don't know. I'm all confused. I don't know. But yeah, I agree with you. I think the rower's coming.
At least they only spent $50 million or whatever on Tonic versus the 420 on Precor.
Yeah, that's a good point. But that's another thing. I think they. I just keep thinking, why you keep Tonic? Don't you got to sell Tonic now? Like, why is that?
No, I think they're exiting Tonic. Like they will shutter that.
Yeah, that's what I think too. Cool. What's going on, Courtney? What's happening?
All right, I'll exit.
What's up?
Right.
You know what? I get the ads. I think I'm on the cusp, like of millennial and Gen Z, and I just get it as them saying like, Peloton, we're like family. We're like a gang. Like whatever your weird thing is, lifting your squats with your junk swinging, like that's fine too. Like all are welcome here. My only request is, does Adrian come with the rower and does Detective Stabler come with the app? Because that's what I'm waiting on.
Everybody was talking about, Christopher Maloney. They say he looked like he was ready. He was right. Everybody keeps talking about that.
I just looked at him squatting and I was like, okay, sir. Yes. Can I get yes.
Unfortunately,
I will say I didn't realize it was him, and then I was messaging John and Tammy, and then I'm like, oh my god, I just realized that's a dude from Law and Order. Now it's even funnier. I was like, I didn't know who it was. I thought it was like this random person, even though they said his name. It did not click to me until I don't even know. It had to have been like a good 5+ minutes after I sent it to John and Tammy, and I'm like, oh my god.
Well, here's my question: I know the Twitter thing? People, like me, I didn't get it. The 50-plusers, I probably didn't get it. But in general, like this idea that they're now making these either pop culture aligned type ad attempts or humor based, current day aligned ad attempts. Like it seems like this is a little bit new. What does this do? Does this just get their name more out there? Does it help them in any way with subs? Does this help in any way? Does this matter?
I don't know. I was going to say, I don't know if it helps, but if you follow a lot of the companies on Twitter, a lot of them are really funny in their accounts. Like, I don't know if you ever checked out Wendy's account, but they are hilarious. Netflix often comes for other people and has funny tweets. So I don't know if it gets them more subs, but it definitely will up their Twitter subscribers.
Yeah.
I think essentially it will get them more subscribers because a lot of people, we all know you don't need the equipment because we're in the ecosystem, as you like to say, John. But there's still a large amount of people in the United States and other parts of the world who don't realize that Peloton is more than just a tread, and a bike. So that commercial is basically trying to get you to see, look, you don't need the equipment. If you got equipment, great, but you can just use the app and still get it in. So I think that it's going to help. I think it's going to be very helpful.
They've made a lot of commercials. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Courtney.
No, I was going to say to that point, I think also what they're trying to do is say fitness should be enjoyable, right? It should not be that serious. You should be able to show up as you are, have fun, and whether you got on Peloton pants or you ain't got on no pants, just move. And I think that that's what I'm getting from these campaigns is trying to thaw out the kind of rigidity or seriousness that I feel kind of circles around fitness.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
I like that.
Just like I do. I get on the bike and I have a good time, and that's it for me. I get on tread, I have fun. I'm not about to be killing myself trying to do what these instructors are doing. It's about movement. That's one of my hashtags. Movement is medicine. You only get one life.
I like the idea of that being the campaign. I know they've talked a lot about, that was big Uncle Barry's big thing about, like, we're talking about the app now. Why don't we push the app? Why don't we push for more subs with the app? Like, and I know I've seen other campaigns relative to that. Like, so that's not new to me. But the idea that, okay, maybe the idea is let's try to lighten it a little bit. Okay. Does that create more subs though? Like, I don't know. But I hear what you're saying. That makes sense.
Well, so since the ad was for the app, would it have made more sense for him not to have a bike and a tread in the ad and just have the app?
I
But I
don't
think
think
it was
so.
saying everything. Like you could have
Right.
this, or you could just have the app.
Exactly. You have
Like,
options.
yeah, there we go. I felt like it was just showing options.
Okay.
Because
And then at
even
the
when I
end,
when
he was crossing his legs, and I was just like, yeah, just he's bearing it all. So it's like, take whatever you would like,
I must
whichever option you like.
And
I
everybody
must
up
have
in
been
these
with
Here we
chat,
go,
Jazz and
exactly.
I
wide
must have been with
open.
Jazz and I was too distracted by the blurred box. I don't
okay,
know.
Like,
everybody up in
blur
here
the
talking
box,
about
unblur the box.
they need to
Take,
have a
take.
version on the black internet
Yep,
somewhere that
unblur
doesn't
the
have the
box,
blur.
unblur the box, unblur the box.
Y'all
Look, when I'm
crazy.
out and about, and certain people that know I'm a Peloton person because they see me, because I pretty much wear something with Peloton on it every day. And I had someone ask me the other day, "Hey, can you tell me more about it?" So guess what I do? I pulled the app on my phone. They was like, "Oh, that's really cool." So I'm telling you, it makes a difference because they didn't realize that you can download the app to your phone or your iPad or your tablet or log in from your computer, and you can just do a meditation, or you can be standing right there and do a class.
But
So,
they've
and I
done
just
that
show
ad
people.
campaign before, Lavalas. They've done that. What you talking
Yeah,
about?
but
They've done that before.
not on that level.
Yes, they
That's the
have.
thing.
They
It
had
was
they had an ad campaign that was on TV. It was on
No, no,
social. It
no.
was
I
all
mean,
about
on
the
the level of
app.
the one that dropped
But wait,
today.
did you
The
have a
level
blurry
that
box with
dropped
that other
today.
ad?
but did you have
Right.
a but did you have a
That's what I'm
blurry
saying.
box?
That's a whole new level, John. And it's Chris Maloney. Like, I recognized him right away. But when he left Law and Order, I stopped watching it. When he came back, I didn't go back to watching it because I'm watching a whole bunch of other stuff. But I did notice that he was a whole lot more leaner. So last year, somebody put an article out about him and his new fitness journey. So I was not surprised at all to see that ad. I was like, yes, I'm here for it. And I was spreading around all the groups.
I am pro Stabler being naked. Pro Stabler being naked.
Exactly.
I just think that the concept, yeah, that is the concept. I just think that what's new is the humor. I think they were trying to find a new way to deliver a message they've delivered 100 times before. And so so I don't know, and that's what I'm wondering, will this new means to deliver that same message actually work this time? Like, so I don't know, we'll see.
I also wonder if they have quite a few celebrities who use Peloton, if they will continue to leverage those celebrities and use them in future ad campaigns. I mean, it would be smart if they did, because they have a lot of them. There's tons of people who have Pelotons and
Exactly.
ride.
We got Ashton Kutcher now is going to be training with Bex. I saw that ad. And of course, we got the Lizzo. She actually was doing her little ad campaign while she was riding her bike. We already knew she had the tread because she put that out. She put out a tread video last year. But it wasn't Peloton, from Peloton. It was from her personal self, talking about, what's that girl name? Miley Cyrus. So this one right here was a Peloton specific filmed. Trust me, people jump on anything celebrities are doing. That's just the world we live in. Pop culture rules everything. Like, John, I know you're on TikTok, but do you look at people's TikTok accounts and see what makes them go viral? It's the dumbest stuff.
Yeah, we'll see how this one plays out. Here, let me bring in Janetta. What's going on, Janetta?
Hey, what's up,
What's
bitches?
going on,
What's up,
bitches?
Puta?
Hi, puta.
We missed you, girl.
I miss you guys. What the hell? It's been a while because you guys have all different time change, and this bitch has to work a lot, and this bitch has to run a lot. So I just finished my workout, my running. As I was listening, I was doing, just Sims, her girl, her one of the body weight stuff. Anyway, I hope everybody's doing well. I'm just training, like following my trainer. whatever calendar program
Oh
and
yeah.
all this shit. And as I was posting something, I saw the ad with a naked guy, and
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, hello, what's up, papi? I'm like, woo, epa. So I'm just, everything is covered, and all I'm trying is to imagine how that thing looks, and it's like. And I'm like, oh my God, you're rubbing that tingly on the floor. You're gonna get it dirty, mi amor. What's wrong with you? And then I'm like, are you guys over analyzing the ad? I'm here like thinking, do not drop that weight on your huevos, man. You're gonna die.
We took that too far, right? We was over analyzing it. It's just about
I was thinking about safety. I'm a nurse, all about safety. Like, hello, cover that thing. You're gonna get a cold.
oh my gosh.
Anyway,
Janetta.
no, whatever they want. I don't know what the hell they do. They're changing every day because I think they're trying to fix whatever the downfall of everything. And the more you change, the more maybe shit will go to hell. But
Yeah.
people like me
You
want
there?
to say, I am not going to the gym. I do not want to go to the gym. I have a gym at my house. And as long as I have Peloton, I'm going to be okay. And I don't fucking care what they do or how they do it and the ads and the shit. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. They're trying to cause some type of controversial shit with this naked guy. I have no idea. I don't know what's in their mind. There's a lot of people involved when they do an ad like this.
Yeah.
So
You're where I'm at, Janetta. I think, what made Peloton rise prior to the pandemic was that they had an innovative product that was unique. Now
yes.
we come to 2022 and they don't really have it the same anymore. They just have really good content, but it's not the same. So my mind says, well, if you want to change some stuff, do something again that's really innovative, unique, and really good. I don't know if like an ad campaign gets you there, but so that's kind of my position too. But
No, I know. And then the rower, Danielle, I'm sorry. I'm sorry they keep teasing you, mommy. They keep teasing you. Like, oh, it's coming. Oh, it's coming. Oh my God. And then they eat an ad. They did the ad with Papi. Oh my God. I forgot his name. You see? I'm not taking his classes
Adrian.
much anymore. Adrian. So they do the ad with Papi Adrian. And then it's like everybody thinks, oh my God, it's coming. No, it's not coming. It's not coming. It's like nobody's coming to save you if you don't move your ass. The rower is not coming. I mean, don't tease me about something and then don't bring it. Then don't bring it up. It's like Santa Claus is coming. Like my parents, when they
Not
were really
Santa
poor.
Claus.
Oh yeah, Santa Claus is coming. Fuck, Santa Claus never came. I never got that fucking bike from my parents because they had no money for the fucking bike. So I never believed in Santa Claus. The motherfucker never made it to Dominican. I had to come here. I had to come here and get the fucking bike myself. I had to work my ass off and get the bike myself. That is seriously no. But what the fuck? If it's gonna come, it's
Listen,
gonna come. If it's not gonna come, don't keep talking about it because if it's not coming, just do it when it's for sure. Do it when you have all the papers, everything signed up, and you have 100,000 rowers to sell people. Meanwhile, don't be talking shit about a rower that is not coming.
that's the
well,
thing.
Teasing us,
That's
just
that's
like you're teasing us.
that's the
I'm
thing.
just gonna
Go
I'm just
ahead.
gonna keep making the curse out crew challenge harder and harder because I'm annoyed that I don't have a fucking rower yet. So they can keep teasing me and everyone else will just suffer. It's all good.
Oh
I
snap.
know. Listen, motherfuckers, do not do that. I have a lot of running. That the one that you did this month is perfect. 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes. I love it. Don't do that. It's not our fault that Peloton screwing you over. So
I mean,
Listen, somebody has to pay.
they're still saying. Well, I know
That
but that's
roar
the
is
thing.
coming,
That's
people.
that's
It
the
is coming.
that's the thing, Janetta. Like that's the position. Like I feel you in my chest. I feel you. It's like we literally have been hearing about a roar since fourth quarter 2018. Like, okay,
No way.
we
Since
coming on, we
2018.
coming on 4 years now. Okay, so now, I mean, even if it is coming next month or in
This
September,
sounds like, oh, my
October,
daddy's gonna come home. He just went to the corner store.
I
Yeah,
mean,
no, it's
Not my
John,
daddy's going to come
John, you
home.
are the biggest
Somebody
hater. You're the
demote
biggest
Steph
hater.
right now.
I'm telling you
I
the
know.
how is it hate if I'm giving you facts? The facts
I
are
don't want to
in
hear
my
it.
group.
We,
I
me
posted
and
something
Danielle,
in
go on.
January of a post from late 2018 about the rumors circling Peloton about a rower was coming. I'm just telling you what it is. So I mean, if you
Well,
rolling up on 3.5 years and we've been hearing every year, oh, it's coming. Oh, it's coming. Oh, no, it's going to be in the fall. No, it's going to be in the
I'm
summer.
so
Oh, it's
sorry.
coming.
You've
I
been looking
mean,
for it that long.
I'm
But
just saying,
I
I'm
haven't.
talking
So
specifically
I'm
to
not an
what
OG.
Janetta said. I'm talking specifically to what Janetta said.
No, but
If I'm
you are
listening to
trying
what
to stir
Janetta
the
said,
pot.
if I'm
Stir the
listening
pot.
to what Janetta said, what I heard from her voice, I can feel in my chest because it's not
But
like all of these other fitness, companies that have all popped up along that 4-year period that didn't even exist when they started talking about this roar. Like, I mean, they've not only produced products, they've produced multiple products all this time we waiting for one roar. So I can
you have
feel
no
what
faith.
you're saying, Janetta.
No faith.
I,
No faith, John.
it's not about faith. They said they dropping it in September. I believe them. I'm
First of
just
all, the
saying
Bible
I
said,
feel it.
faith without works is dead. That's what Jesus said.
Oh,
And right now,
oh,
you
oh,
acting up
Nisi.
loud.
They've
Oh,
been
drop
putting
it,
in the
Nisi.
work,
Oh,
Steph.
drop it, Nisi.
They've been putting in
All
the
right,
work.
let us
Okay.
raise our holy hands. We done brought Jesus into the room
I
now.
know.
We
Why you
done
gonna brought
brought
Jesus
Jesus
into it?
in
Come
it.
on, Steph. Last week you said you was died and you went to heaven or your ghost or something.
Lavalis, I work for church. I literally work for Black Jesus. So I'm going to put all the Jesus references. God's still working on me.
Honestly, she's just trying to keep me from going crazy next month on the Curse Out Crew Challenge. That's what
That's
she's
all
trying
it
to do.
is. That's all
Period.
it
So
is.
she's
Right.
like,
And then
keep the faith.
exactly. I'm trying to be positive because I feel like they put the article out because everybody was making all these comments and they heard about all the rumors. They was like, okay, let me just go ahead and put the article out. The roar is coming. Yes, we're getting out of the hardware business, but that ain't got nothing to do with it. Somebody else will continue to make the doggone roar. It's going to get made, people. They
Listen,
already
I used to
had it
be
all in the works.
I used
It's
to
in the testing phase.
I used to be just like you, Lavalis. I used to be just like
But
you.
they never,
And then
okay, so
you
in
know what changed?
2018,
You know what changed? You know what changed? I
what?
invested, and then it was like this. Playing with my money
Well,
is like
I'm
playing with my
sorry.
emotions. You understand? And then it was like that. You
Okay,
understand? I
listen.
was just like
Okay,
you, and then I invested a whole bunch of money, and then it was like this. Playing with my money is like playing with my
okay,
emotions.
John.
That's what it was. You
John,
understand?
I get where you coming from on that level. Now y'all invested from day one when they first opened as an IPO, right? That's what you're saying. You bought the stock when they first became publicly traded.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't. I didn't start buying stock till I joined BGM, which is like in 2020. So when I saw the prices dropping real low, I was like, okay, let me just sell this and use this change for something else. I'm sorry, John, but when it comes to the stock market, you can't be emotional. Get past it, bruh. That's the stock market is gambling.
And that
Gambling.
you're saying the same thing to me that I'm saying to you. I think you're being emotional and fanatical. I'm just being realistic.
No,
I'm just telling you what it is.
But the article said the roar is coming. Okay, they put the article out this week. I made sure I sent it to you and Danielle. I sent it to Danielle first so she can smile. Because I wanted her to smile, be like, you know what, Lavalis does care about me. She sent me this article because she wanted me to know.
Yeah,
We are
I
Team
think
Roar.
she smiled too.
Okay?
I think she probably did. I think she did. I'm
Yeah,
hoping
I'm
she
sure
get
she
the roar.
did.
I'm hoping
Because,
she.
it
Listen,
takes a
I
lot for
smile.
her to
Listen,
smile.
when I when Michelle from BGM says, Danielle, you ready to order the rower? Here's the link to order. Then I'm like, okay, good, I can order. And then I will smile. In the meantime, I'm kind of just like a slight grimace, like, I don't know. We'll
Well,
see.
we'll see. I think that is coming. We just got to be patient. And they said September. They actually gave a month.
Yeah,
So in Homecoming, they did announce in Homecoming later this year. They did say that later this year they'll be available to start pre-ordering. They did say that. I
Yeah.
think just people just soon as Homecoming was out, everybody was like, okay, where is it? Where is it?
I believe him. I believe him. I believe it's coming. I believe it's coming.
Well,
It's not that I'm
we go back
questioning.
to this topic,
It's
and
not that I'm.
you get mad every week.
Oh no, it's not that I'm questioning it's not coming. I just think that they've made mistakes with regards to its how they spoke to it over the years. I think they just made mistakes, and I think those are things that we've seen. I mean, we see all the effects.
We make mistakes. You know, it's much harder than running a company on that level than people realize, because it's hard for me to run my little very, very, very small business. So I can imagine the headache that these guys have. That's why I don't really stress, and I just cut off some slack. And like Yanira said, as long as my content work and all this other stuff, I don't give a damn what happens with stock prices and all the other stuff. I just want to log in and hang out with my friends. Yeah. I want to log in and hang out with my friends. I don't, Courtney. I'm sorry.
No, but if the stock is good, then it could be purchased and it could go bankrupt and the content could not be there. So I think
how many companies have gone bankrupt and still thriving? People, they go bankrupt every day. People buy other companies every day.
Well, what I'm saying is that you could get another company that comes in to purchase it that does not have the same vision. And that's where I think a lot of investors, myself included, get nervous that sometimes when you have mergers and acquisitions, there's a cultural clash and the vision isn't there anymore. And then the content could be like blah, 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 blah. I
appreciate
trying to balance that.
Yeah,
I appreciate you, Valis, but I also appreciate John's approach.
Yeah, I appreciate your position. I really do appreciate your position, Lavalis. Right. I really do. I think if you saw kind of the history of how the group evolved, you might have a different perspective. I mean, the group evolved with how Peloton evolved. It was like, all of us were very fanatical, and then once you kind of invest, you got to be a little more practical. So you got to ask practical questions, and so that's all it is. We just ask a lot of practical questions.
But you guys,
those practical questions can be construed as hate if you're a fanatic. Though it depends on your purview.
Of course, I got to call you a hater to be funny. I got to say that. I mean, this ain't no fun if we ain't having fun every week. Now that's why we here.
I like it. I'm with it.
Okay.
Let's see.
I love you. I support the things you do.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
You still be hating sometimes.
Oh,
going to get that Stairmaster.
Well,
do we want to talk about that?
Well, I drink a lot. I drink some of the haterade every once in a while. I can't lie. Yeah, but anyway,
exactly.
Anyway, let me get into the next topic so we can finish this stuff out. So Ashton Kutcher.
Yo.
He jumps up and says he about to run the New York City Marathon. He ain't never ran a marathon in his life, and Peloton is kind of, they're aligned with him and his content that he's going to be using to prepare to run this marathon. I found
he just wants to keep up with Janetta and Jess Minardi.
Yay! I love it. Oh my God.
He saw them training hard, Jess Minardi's 4:19 a.m. post, and he was like, I got to get on that train.
Yo, I see them.
Really.
Go ahead, Courtney.
Sorry. No, I was just going to say, when I saw the news, I thought that was really great and a good partnership, with Ashton and Bex and Peloton. But to be honest, all I could think about is this man don't bathe. And he's going to need to bathe if he's going to prepare for a marathon. I've run marathons. I've run half marathons. Your skin chafes. You need to bathe. You can't just wipe your face and splash water. And that's all that I could think about is this man don't bathe.
Excuse me, Courtney. He doesn't bathe. I mean, he doesn't take a shower.
The Wash Your Coochie Queen is about to get lit.
Seriously, no.
Yeah, what in the hell is that?
Yeah. Okay, so
how these certain melanin deficient people are.
What the hell?
Steph, don't start.
Was it this year or last year?
Really?
It came out that him and his wife don't bathe their kids unless they see dirt. If it's not visible, they don't bathe.
I remember that.
But they bathe sometime, maybe once a week, once a month.
When they see dirt. When they see dirt.
That's when they bathe. Even after his workout, all he does is splash his face, maybe wash his underarms and
absolutely not.
Oh hell no.
Absolutely not.
No, I don't want him around me. He can run the hell away from me. I don't want him around me. Go run by yourself.
I'm telling y'all, stop lusting over these people y'all don't know, because y'all don't know their habits. Because once you get to know these people on a personal level.
I think it's great that he's running the New York City Marathon. I just want to be part of his training, Bex. Please tell him part of your training for the marathon with Peloton is a bar of soap and a legitified, certified, validated washcloth.
Oh Lord.
So
Oh, now
Yeah,
you know this
nasty.
but
woman is
but
not
Bex
gonna
is
say
not from
that.
here. Bex is not from here, and people from outside of
So
the
that
U.S. don't
Okay,
bathe on
then
a
we have
regular
to tell
This
basis.
him.
is
We
the
have to
Middle
tell him.
Ages.
exactly.
Water is free.
Danielle,
It
but
doesn't
he's
matter.
from this country. Maybe we should tell him. Maybe the Peloton community should come together
I'm
and
just
say,
saying, Bex
Ashton,
may not be the
you have
one to
to
tell
bathe,
him. She's
right?
not
Now
from
I ain't gonna.
here.
I'm
Maybe
a
we
bow
should
out
tell
on
him.
that one
Yep.
because I don't want to be canceled or blacklist by anybody. So I'm gonna let you lead that charge, Court.
Yeah, I
I
don't.
have no problem. I will show him old school black woman. This how we get down in my house. This how I was raised.
So
Okay, let's
everybody,
go. Wash.
I heard that same perspective because we all heard when they said they wasn't washing nobody unless they saw some dirt. So that yeah, that came to my mind too. I was a little concerned about that a little bit. So that's hilarious that you brought that up. But I was
No, she's so wrong for bringing that up on here.
but 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 I was thinking when I another part of what I was thinking when I saw that was like, you know how iFit has been doing that type of thing for a while, like they'll have like an actual instructor who's running like the Boston Marathon or whatever it is, and then they'll have like cameras like following the instructor through the whole marathon. They probably gonna have somebody at the New York City Marathon doing the same thing, and then after it's over, they'll take that recording and they'll make it a class. Right? So like they're aligning to these public events around fitness. And then they're also utilizing the footage relative to the event as like something other people could take and act like they run in the New York City Marathon as well, along with this celebrity. So I started thinking, is this the first step to Peloton doing that? Like they like walking down that same path. And would we even want to do that? Does anybody want to run the New York Marathon with Ashton Kutcher in a class?
I don't know if
I
they're gonna do
mean,
that extent to it, but I did notice when they were like showing his content that he had a headset and stuff on. So I'm really curious as to what comes next because everyone just assumed that it was the updated, refreshed marathon training program. But if that's the case, why did he have a headset on? Like, there's more to this
Yeah.
than just the updated marathon training that they refreshed, which really apparently they didn't do a whole lot to. Because they still have the same people teaching strength that they had before. They just added a couple more running classes,
Mm-hmm.
but they didn't do like a complete overhaul, so to speak. So I'm really curious to see what comes out of this like partnership. Because why did he have a headset on?
Yeah, me too. Like I want
I
to.
thought he said he was gonna document or something at the end, like he was gonna like document the journey or something to that effect. So I
So,
think at some point we'll see like his training journey
oh,
as
okay.
well.
So the idea is not really about the event. It's really just about the journey, the training journey, and they're just kind of using that as content that people kind of see at some point. That is that the idea?
Yeah,
That's
I
what
got
I'm
it like it
thinking.
was like the real live. You know how they did the on the leaderboard with Usain Bolt and the Jonas, one of the Jonas brothers. I feel like this is more like, and also you remember how they did the Beck's journey last year to
Yeah.
her Olympic trial attempts in the UK.
Yep.
So I felt like it was like going to be like along that like vein.
Gotcha. Okay.
But Bex was only on YouTube. I don't think this is just going to be strictly YouTube content. I think they're gonna have some kind of classes or something where it's more like on the leaderboard type of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but more of an actual class. Because on the leaderboard, honestly, it was stupid.
I
I
didn't
know
get that
lots of
either.
people, lots
Agreed.
of people wanted it on the equipment. They wanted to be able to take it as a class or a ride, but it was dumb
Yeah, I didn't get it.
because you had nothing to follow. There was no real cues to call out. Like it was just stupid. So I didn't mind it as YouTube on the leaderboard because I listened to it like in the background. But hopefully, with whatever they do with Ashton, it's an actual class where it's like, okay, this is a 30-minute class or a 45-minute class or however long, and then you got actual numbers that you can follow. Whether it's incline, speed, whatever, like you have something, even if it's just perceived exertion,
Mm-hmm.
but you have something that you can like, okay, this is what I should be doing at this point. Because on a leaderboard, you had nothing.
Right. Yeah, I like that. I mean, well, I like the idea that it evolves. It becomes something that someone could take on the equipment. I like that idea. But I would have really liked it if it was not only prep that becomes content, but the actual event becomes content to kind of rival the same thing that iFit's doing. Like that's what I was hoping it was, but
You over here spitting free game, Unc.
you know what I mean? I'm trying to tell them. I would have really liked that. I think that would have been really cool. Anyway, let me bring in Oleg. I'm sorry, Oleg, what's happening?
Hey, man. I hope I'm not screwing up your agenda.
No, it's all right. We hop around. It's all good. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. I was going to comment on the guide membership and Apple Health.
Yeah, what's up with that?
So the guide, I said in the group, my humble opinion is that the guide full membership is no different from bike full membership. Because like if I have the bike but don't have the guide, and I have to use the app for strength, right? And it's a suboptimal experience. I still pay full membership, and vice versa. If I own the guide, but then I use the app for the third party bike, it's a suboptimal experience on the bike, and I still pay full membership. I don't see. I think by the time 2023 starts, the guide will be in a lot better shape. It's really, with every update they're pushing, it's getting better and better. So I kind of think they're gonna have. I just have faith they're gonna have rep count, and I don't think they'll ever get to form correction. I just, from a technical, like I'm a software engineer, and I just can't imagine how they're gonna do it. Like without like having sensors on your body. I don't know. Like maybe I'm missing something.
Yeah.
But
so real quick before you proceed, I just want to answer someone's question in the chat. So Janetta, with regards what Oleg's talking about is the guide right now. I don't remember what the monthly is. What, $21-$23 or something like that. But starting in 2023, if you, let's say you only had the guide, you didn't have a bike, you didn't have a tread. If you only had the guide, starting in 2023, it'll still be full access membership cost. So it'll be $44 a month with just the guide. And so that one of my questions, which was the next topic on the list, was, is that worth it? Will that be worth it for people to only have a guide and be paying $44 a month, right? And I think what Oleg is thinking is that by the time 2023 gets here, the improvements to the guide will be at a point where it won't have as many glitches. It'll, everything will work a little better. It'll have new capabilities, and thus $44 a month for just a guide might be viable.
Right. And I mean the other thing that I think I really think Peloton should be marketing it as an add-on to existing users, because it really makes my experience so much better with Peloton. Like if they iron out the kinks.
Are you saying it not be like a standalone thing, but be like if you buy this and here's like just an additional thing you could add to, I don't know, this package?
Well, first of all, I think it's perfectly fine as a standalone. What I mean is that imagine like you're you bought the bike, right? And they sell it to you for $199 instead of $299. You know what I mean? Or you buy the bike, I don't know what the current price is. Let's say it's $1,500 or something. But for like on Black Friday sale, you get the bike plus the guide. Like that type of thing.
I got you.
Because I think like like rather than giving you weights and accessories, like how when you buy the bike they can on sale, like like on Thanksgiving sales, sometimes they throw in like they used to do it when I bought my bike. They gave me 3 months free membership, like that type of stuff. Yep. Imagine they throw in the guide, and stuff, because I really think it complements the bike. And by itself it's fine too, but
I get it.
It's kind of like what if you have the bike, right, and you pay full membership, but then you have a third party treadmill. It's really the same. Like I don't see why like people are hating on the guide, but I really think it's much better than using the app.
And I was gonna say I totally agree with Oleg. For me personally, I think even the guide as the full membership price is better, because when you have the bike and you pay for the bike and you want to do the tread, you can't see the tread classes on the bike. From the guide, you can see all of the classes.
Oh, that's right. Oh, you
So,
can.
like, if I'm
I
on my
can.
bike and I want to run, I got to use my iPad. I mean, if I'm on my bike and I don't have a Peloton treadmill, I got to use my iPad or TV or something. But if
Right.
I got the guide, I've got it right there. Like, I can see every single class. You
I
can't
can't
see every
wait.
single class from the bike.
I can't wait till they have rowing classes, because the way I'm gonna set it up, that like I already tried the setup. I'm gonna set it up so the guide can see me on my rower, and then I'll see myself and Adrian or
Well, I want to make sure I process
like whoever.
what Danielle just said. So I just make sure I got this. Like, okay, so if I have the app now and I'm like taking whatever class, it's not showing me everything, but let's say whatever class I want to take, I get to it. Is your position that, well, now if I want to like cast that somewhere or display it on some bigger screen, I now have to have additional things to do that, and now that I have the guide, I don't need that. Is that what
Yep.
what
That's
you're saying?
exactly what I'm saying.
Okay,
Yep.
yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, and then to what Oleg was saying was to add on to that is that, oh, and plus, since the guide is showing me all content, not a subset, I can also use it in scenarios where I take that class, but can also see the class and the reflection of how I'm doing it
That's
in
right.
whatever that content is. That doesn't matter. It could be
Right.
bike.
It doesn't
It could
matter.
be boot camp. It could be tread. It could be rowing. Whatever. I'm able to like compare myself from a form perspective, and that's what
I
you're
do it with the
saying, right,
boxing
Oleg?
classes all the
Yeah.
time.
Okay,
Now,
I
now
got
if
it.
they can figure out so for okay, since I got the guide, I stopped taking bike boot camp, right? And I used to enjoy bike boot camps with Jess.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, like, the transition between the guide and the bike is really horrible right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I take a half-hour class on the guide, and then I go to the bike for a 20-minute Tabata afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have to like pair my headphones again. I have to pair my HR monitor again. Like, I have to jump through all these hoops. It's actually like it's as bad as switching to the app. Almost.
Right.
If they can iron out those kinks, like the transition from bike to the guide and vice versa, and the tread, like between all of their products, I think it will be incredible. Like you're gonna have this really immersive experience in your home gym, with like everything flowing from one thing to another. It's gonna be great if they can figure it out.
I like the idea. I like the idea of, well, we're just going to go, from a form correction perspective, we're just going to simplify this down. And it's just going to, you may have to be the one monitoring your form, but you will be able to do that because you can see yourself. We're not even going to get into this space of trying to compete with people who are trying to do computer vision to manage to form correction. Like,
I'm
that's what your
skeptical about the
perspective is,
whole,
right? Oh, like you're kind of thinking that's where they're going with this. Do I have that right?
with the form. Yeah, so I'm skeptical about the whole form correction business, because so many classes, they say, well, if you're injured, you modify, do something different. I just don't understand how, in terms of, I'm an engineer, so I'm thinking, how would I implement all that? Like, how,
Right.
in terms of like complexity, how is that gonna work? So it's almost like better to say, well, and to tell the truth, I don't even think they need rep count, and although I would personally really like that, like, we're gonna simplify the whole thing, like you said. We're gonna show you your form, and then you do you, boo, like Cody says.
Yep.
And instead of rep counting, you fill in the movement tracker, and it's gotten really good lately.
Mm-hmm.
So because like I'm doing, I'm trying to fill in the movement tracker, and I start with heavy weights, and I get really tired, so I quickly switch to, like the goal is to complete the routine, like even without the weights,
Right.
so it keeps you moving. It works for me.
Well, it's
and I suspect,
clearly a play. I really do like it as the only caveat I would say, I love this whole thing because it's clearly a unique kind of play. The only caveat I would say is that there are these players that seem to say they figured that out. Now, I don't know if they really did. Like, we know, Tempo came out with the move and then it struggled, right? But I think the Tempo device Does it? Right? Like, I don't know. I don't have these things to know how good they are. But that's the only caveat is that these other devices say they did it.
Yeah, remember Nintendo with Wii had it.
Yeah.
You know, they had form correction, like because you had to stand on that balance board, and it knew, you know, which way you were leaning. Can I talk about Apple Health?
Yeah, just to end that one topic out. I'm right with you with it though. I love the idea that it's a unique play. It's like we're saying, well, we ain't even going to try to do all that craziness because there's too much complexity in it, and we're going to do something that's more simplistic. And we think people will align to just the organic kind of generic way to do this. Like at least it's very unique. I like that. But okay, Apple Health. Go ahead.
Wait 1 second before we get to Apple Health. Before we get too far away from like the outdoor running stuff and like people having, you know, like iFit does that stuff.
Yep.
So you guys know I've been using the Nike Beta Innovation Momentum, whatever the hell they're calling it. It's got like 3 names. Running thing, and you can do the live runs. Well, now on Fridays they're actually running live in New York. I think it was Flatiron. I think I sent it to Steph because she's in New York, and I'm like, you can go run live. So like 7 a.m. you can run live in New York City with Nike Run Club, and I can also be running live from my house in Harleysville. They are broadcasting. The instructor is running live and broadcasting the run.
I wonder how that works. I mean, that's pretty neat. I love that. Like, I wonder what the camera's going to be like. Is it's like?
I am really interested to see how they do it because, like, when Nike Run Club, like this was obviously way pre-pandemic. They used to offer so many free classes. That's actually how I met Rebecca Kennedy. She used to be a Nike master trainer, and she offered some of her classes for Nike members who would like sign up and do Nike Town New York. Mm-hmm. So I met RK way before she was even at Peloton. And they stopped doing them because they were trying to like push more, I guess, app content. But this would be a new offering for them.
I love it.
I'm really curious because their coaches are amazing.
I love it.
Let's go.
And I'm sure it's audio only. At least on my end, it's audio only. Whether or not they have visual cameras just recording it just for the sake of recording it,
got it.
I don't know. But from the app, it's audio only. But you can see everyone who's running through the app, which I always think is pretty cool. You can see them. You can cheer them on. You can they'll hear you. Like you don't even have to see the cheers. You'll hear the cheers.
I love the video. The voice only content for running anyway, because like if I'm running out in these streets, I need to pay attention and not get hit by a car. Like I'm not looking at my little phone.
That's a good idea. I'm with you on that one. But
I just thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I really do think that is. I love that. That's pretty neat. I can't wait to see how. Well, it's been like a beta thing, right? It's just kind of now getting off the ground.
Yeah,
right?
it's still in beta. I don't know. That's why you can't use it from your watch yet. That's why it doesn't sync with the other. It doesn't sync with the actual Nike Plus Run Club because this is a beta app, and you have to like go through and apply it and be. I mean, everyone gets accepted as far as I know. I don't think they're turning anyone down, but it's still considered like beta. So that's why the two apps don't work together, which I find quite annoying. And the fact that you have to use your phone, you can't use. They don't have an app for the watch yet. So you always have to run with your phone. But they've got some neat stuff happening, and they've added strength live classes. They've added live stretching classes. And then, like I said, you get direct contact to a coach. Like you can comment and a coach replies back to you. And each group has several coaches. I think the one I'm in has 2 coaches.
Yeah.
She's posted, she said, I'll post this on IG so you can like follow this run plan to like do this, that, or the other.
Oh my God. And the run coaches are incredible.
I love this.
Jess, it's like Jess Lynn, NYC, like she's amazing. Coach Bennett used to be based in New York, and he's like literally my favorite run coach like alive. And he relocated back to Oregon. But if they bring back Coach Bennett, like all bets are off, y'all. I actually might go back to running outside because I loved Nike Run Club.
Well, I have some other questions about this, but I think it'll be better asked once we get down to another agenda item. So let me keep it moving, and I'll bring that back up once we scroll down a little bit further. But as it relates to, I'm hopping right over this OPMP agenda item, and going right to, because we already know the answer on that, and going right to Apple Health. So now I know kind of high level, Oleg, what Apple Health is. Like high level, it feels to me like it's a common kind of hub for fitness-based applications on your phone to post information with regards to what you're doing from a fitness perspective. That's kind of my high level layman's kind of thought on it. A person that doesn't use it, like, you know, that, and let me know if any of that's wrong. But that's what
it's more than so. It's kind of like so basically it's a database of all of your health data, not just fitness.
Got it. Okay.
Not just activity. Because like I have my blood work from Quest sync into Apple Health.
Got it. Okay.
And my physician, at least during COVID, when there were no in-person, when we were trying to avoid in-person, he accepted the cardiogram from Apple Watch, through Apple Health. But basically, Apple Health by itself, there's a question on the agenda: is it a threat to Peloton? I don't think it's a threat. I think it's an asset.
Well, the question,
Apple Health, not Apple Fitness.
The question itself, the reason I threw the question there is what I was thinking was, if I'm using Apple Health as that hub for health, and I assumed it included fitness as well. So let me know if that's wrong.
Yeah.
But if it includes health and fitness metrics, doesn't that also mean that Peloton for some, will no longer be that central hub for them to manage their little blue man of I've done some upper body and now I've done some lower body and Peloton's not that hub for them?
Well, so Apple Health, okay. So first of all, I don't think Peloton was ever trying to be the hub for all health data. I know for some people it is. Like some people...
No, I know it's not. I know it's not.
Right.
But I think they were trying to figure out how to be the central location for anything you're doing from a fitness perspective. Like I think they were really trying to, you did your strength here, you did your cardio here, you did your stretching here, you did your yoga here, and we want all that in here so we can tell you and suggest to you what you should do next. Right?
Well, so Apple Health doesn't record muscle groups you exercised, So, and it doesn't record cycling power right now, for example. Like you can't. Usually, what happens is the apps complement Apple Health.
Okay.
So I think like Peloton. If anything, what I think Peloton should do is what Apple Fitness does. Apple Fitness app reads from my Apple Health, and it says, and like I take Peloton spin classes, and it says, "Oh, looks like you like cycling. Why don't you take this spin class from Apple Fitness?" Or like you just went for a bike ride, for 100 miles, and 4,000 feet of climbing. How about a nice stretch?
Right.
If Peloton can read that too, just like Apple Fitness, nobody's stopping them.
Right.
I have like pet projects going like on the side where I'm reading my own health data. Yeah, it's not rocket science. They can read the same data. They can say, you just went for like I shouldn't have to track an outdoor run with Peloton app for them to do that. They can say, you just went for an outdoor run. How about this nice stretch with Hannah Corbin?
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
And then they're gonna have. What was I gonna say? I mean, there's all sorts of stuff. They can be really creative. Like for example, I have a training plan that I follow from that I made up. But at the same time, every morning I check HRV and resting heart rate from the day before.
Yep.
To see it's kind of like what people use Whoop for.
Yep.
Or like Oura Ring,
Yeah.
So like I look at it and like, like my resting heart rate is a little too high, and I know in the past if I did, Tabata, I didn't feel too good afterwards, so maybe I should take it easy today, So Peloton can do that too. Peloton can suggest classes.
In the chat, Lavalis, what he's talking, I see you saying that the Peloton already does that. I think what Oleg is saying is, if you're a person that's not only using Peloton, let's say you were doing Peloton and you were using iFit for something else, and you were using Apple Fitness for something else. Peloton's making suggestions based on the exercises you use their platform
Right.
for. They don't know anything about any other thing. So like for me, I don't use Peloton for strength. I'm using completely different things for strength. But if everything I was using was pushing information to Apple Health, and then if Peloton was then reading Apple Health to determine what recommendation to suggest you should do next, then they would have a broader kind of range and a more accurate kind of representation of what to suggest to you. And that's what Oleg is saying. Right now, Peloton can't do that because they don't know the other things.
And it doesn't have to be like there are things that Peloton does not do. You know, like if I go for a 60-mile bike ride on the weekend with my friends, you know, with my cycling club,
yeah,
Peloton has no like play in that, you know.
Right.
But they can know from Apple Health. They can sync to Apple Health, and I can say, oh yeah, you did, you know, 60-mile bike ride. Maybe you know, do yoga tomorrow. You know, like something like that.
Yeah, I think that does need to evolve. That definitely needs to evolve.
Yeah, and then there's like hiking. Like if you go hiking with all trails, you know, Peloton doesn't do that. You know, so.
I hear you. I'm with you on that one. I think it's a good space for them to kind of evolve and having more information to be able to kind of like make recommendations, do, you know, some kind of creative analytics and AI to kind of figure out what to tell people. I think would be good. But, all right, let me push it on because I want to make sure we get through a couple more. We only have like 11 more minutes. There's I'm not going back to the opium thing. I keep looking at that one and going, I don't know what
did we talk about Peloton stopping their manufacturing? Did I like snooze during that? What happened?
No, we didn't talk about, well, we mentioned it, but we didn't really like dig into it. But yeah, so we can talk about if you guys want to. I mean, yeah, so
I'm sorry. Well, what else is there?
Is it a big deal that they're not manufacturing anymore? Lots of companies don't manufacture their own stuff and they outsource it.
Well,
so is that really like news?
Yeah, I mean, I don't, well, for me, it wasn't big news. To me, it doesn't really matter. The reason it didn't matter to me is because, one, Uncle Barry had been saying that all along, that he was like, he questioned that whole thing. Two, they were already using the manufacturer that they're talking about to produce, I think, pretty much all of their Bike Pluses and the treads, right? So I don't know how much in-house manufacturing they were doing anyway. So to me, it sounded like they were just making a statement of, we're just gonna, you know, really kind of double down on what we pretty much are already doing anyway. That's how I read it. But yeah, I didn't think it was a big deal. I know a lot of people thought, wait a minute, they were building in the U.S. and now they're going to be building, you know, overseas. No, I think they were always manufacturing overseas. So I didn't think it was any big news.
Well, remember they were going to build that big plant. It's not a big deal to me, but I think people were upset that those jobs that was kind of supposed to come to that area is probably not going to come because they're no longer going to be manufacturing those equipment. I think that was a lot of why people were upset too. I mean, I don't know because I can't read their minds, but like Danielle said, it doesn't matter who makes the hardware. So that's the only thing that I can think of that people would get upset about.
I think people just didn't know. I mean, because everybody already knows that they shut down the whole Peloton output part. Like everybody already knows that. That's not news. Like I think there are people that just didn't realize that they're manufacturing everything out of Taiwan right now. Like I think people just didn't know that.
I'm telling you, they were them jobs that was not going to come. That's probably what got to them. Because
but again, they already knew that. We already knew that.
You know how people are when information get recycled again. They find something else to fuss about. That's just human nature.
Maybe, but yeah, So to your question, Danielle, I think that's just. I don't think it's that big a deal because they've been using.
It's not a big deal for me. Exactly. So I was like, "What's new here?" Other than the roar is coming. That's the only thing that I found useful in that article.
And I don't know if it's because I work for a company where we frequently outsource our stuff and we bring it in and slap our label on it and we don't do anything with it other than put our name on it and get paid X dollars more than what the company we paid to make it.
Right.
So to me, it's like, this is just normal business practices. If you can get it made someplace at a lower cost to you and save on labor, then that's what you do.
I think the bigger news in that article to me is that Peloton purchased Precor for the commercial part, and they don't make any distinction in that article between their divisions. They just say we're doubling down on using third-party manufacturing, and I know that Precor has previously used Rexon. So the bigger question to me is, are they making it so that their commercial business is also not going to be doing, stateside manufacturing? Are they changing that? Now that would be a change. Are they saying that's changing too? Like none of the Precor stuff's going to be here anymore either? That's going to all be? But they didn't specifically get deep into that, but they didn't say anything about that. But that was the question in my mind. Is it that far where literally nothing, not even Precor, is going to be stateside anymore? But they just didn't go that far.
Exactly. They didn't even mention that. Exactly. That's what I was saying. Nothing was new in that article, but
they were very high level. Like they just said Peloton. Precor is a part of Peloton, so you could infer that, but they didn't specifically say it. So I'm waiting for that one. I think that might be news if we determine that, but we just don't know. But anyway, that's all I had on that one. Unless you guys have something else. Cool. Okay, so I got a question about Lulu. So Lululemon over here, they done changed the name of the mirror. Now they gonna call it Lululemon Studio. But remember, we posted about this some months ago, that Lululemon Studio ain't gonna just have these mirror classes anymore. They got I can't remember all the players, but it's like Rumble and it's like Pure Bar or something. It's like they gonna have all kind of different categories on Mirror other than what they historically had on this new thing they call Lululemon Studio. And it reminded me of who were we talking about earlier? Apple Fitness Plus, what they're doing. It's like iFit, what they're doing. It's like it's like all these players are doubling down on all kinds of content. At the same time that Peloton's saying we're about to focus highly on content. To me, it's like this space is crowded now. Can Lulu compete here? To me, it I know we I love the Peloton content. I don't know why I would ever take any of that other stuff, but man, this seems crowded.
Look, I hear you. And it might be getting crowded. And they trying to get a piece of the pie, but they would never have the community that we have. That is what drives Peloton. The community is unmatched. They don't have that. I don't care what content they put out. Like I said, when I had the NordicTrack, I never logged into one of the extra classes. I did just walk while I was watching Chase on my Fire Stick. So I don't care about none of the other stuff. And I just think they're making an attempt because, okay, why not? They see there might be a little void to fill there. So why not, why not put our little name in the hat and see what happens? But I don't think it's a threat to us at all.
Yeah,
Is it just a bunch of in-person stuff that may be struggling? So now they're doing this?
I don't
so they're
know.
Coming together, kind of banding together. We're all failing, but together we'll be great.
I don't know. I don't know how to. I'm not sure. I don't know enough about the various boutique content to answer that. I'm not really sure. It's just it's very interesting to me how this market is playing. It just feels like each of these players feel that they have a possible inlet. So they're all kind of doubling down on this content. Like we talked about a couple weeks ago about how LG now is talking about, they sell all these TVs. So they're like, well, you know what? We're going to produce this thing that's just like the guide. And we're just going to start delivering a bunch of content through your TV, anybody who has an LG TV. It's like a lot of people jumping on this content bandwagon now. So,
And John, I have both the Mirror and the Peloton, and they actually do have a good community. There's a rather large Facebook group. Well, when I say large, it's 12,000, so it's not by Peloton means by any extent.
right.
And there are a lot of people like me who on the Mirror, I prefer to join live classes, and there's just random shout outs in classes. It doesn't matter that you hit, 100 workouts or what have you. So that pulls you in a little bit, and people follow the instructors on Instagram like they do on Peloton, and a couple of them have over 100,000 followers. So there are some who do have quite a bit of a following there, and there is a community feel. It's just not to the extent of Peloton. But at the same time, what I think they're trying to do, adding these extra services, is not to get more for the current members, because I think we're all pretty happy with what we have, and they're going to keep offering what they have. But I think they're trying to pull in new memberships by doing that.
The people that are fanatical of those specific brands. That's what you're thinking, yeah.
Yes.
I got
So
you.
we'll see how it all pans out when it all launches in the fall.
Yeah, I'm interested to see it. I just, the whole space is really interesting to me now. Like to see that, there was a time in the early days where, of Peloton, where they were kind of just like a very unique player from a connected fitness perspective, right? They were just extremely unique. And as the years have evolved, they're not as unique anymore. So we have to, we talk about the things that we know that they're strong in. So we'll talk about, well, their content is still better than everyone else's. Or like Lavalis say, we'll go, well, there's something about the community that they just don't have. Like we've kind of funneled and narrowed down to just those two things. Those are the things we talk about, which is just an interesting dynamic to me now. It's like there's all these players, and we've funneled down to those two things as being the secret sauce that they just won't ever figure out. Like, it just makes me wonder if there's it's something broader here. Like, is there an inlet for these players? Like, there's just so many of them. They're everywhere.
Well, John, are you planning to go over to Booty Sweat or whatever they call it, or somebody? I mean,
You said Booty Sweat. No, I ain't trying to mess with B Sweat. I can't get in trouble like that. But were you saying something, Courtney?
No, I was just going to say I don't personally have a mirror. However, my best friend does, so I will often go and take some of their classes. And I think the difference for me is that when I think of Lululemon, I got introduced to Lululemon because I am in the yoga community and I'm a teacher. And I just don't think Lululemon, in my opinion, is known for broader fitness outside of, say, Pilates, yoga, that space. So I think them as a company are being smart in bringing in other sectors that are specialists, say, in bar, like from Pure Bar or this area, rather than try to attempt to make that content within, say, Lululemon proper,
right,
to create more of an umbrella. So I liken it to that, like, instead of Peloton, say, doing yoga in-house or, lifting in-house, that it may kind of, for lack of better words, outsource that content to someone else in the business. I think it also keeps those other areas that are brick and mortar alive by providing a digital platform, whereas before it was not. That is becoming so important in the kind of fitness space, is offering those things virtually for access as well as just convenience. So that's kind of what I looked at it as.
That makes sense.
Is them just being smart from a business standpoint.
Although they are going to still have their current trainers doing yoga, bar, Pilates, strength, and all those. Because I did message them, concerned about that because of that change. Right. Yeah, that would affect what I felt.
Yeah, there's one instructor. I love her restorative classes. So I will often take them a lot when I'm over at my friend's house, just because. And what I think it does is it allows Lululemon to expand their reach without necessarily expanding their core. If that makes sense.
That. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And then the earlier point you made about like giving them these boutique only kind of fitness platforms now like a digital offering, and so it's kind of like a partnership in a sense with that. Like that all makes sense. I kind of like that.
I never even knew that they had all that going on. I thought Lululemon was all about their apparel. So this is all news to me about Lululemon. Now,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
they
knew
have
it, but
running shoes. Well, they've expanded over the years. Like several years ago, probably like 5 or 6 years ago, they would do in-studio classes. And the yoga studio that I was working at the time partnered with them to offer like live classes in like the actual Lululemon stores, and they like push the racks to the side. And then when Lululemon kind of purchased the mirror, I think that was a smart move to be able to offer this more broadly to a lot of people. And so I think what they're doing is they're partnering with other kind of smaller boutique businesses in order to provide a broader offering to their members, and then it's also mutually beneficial to those businesses. So I think it's a smart move for them. Do I think it's a
Yeah.
threat to Peloton? I really don't, because I think people will like what they like and gravitate to what they gravitate towards.
Right.
I also think just the core and intent of Lululemon is very different. So even though I may use the mirror or go buy their clothes, I don't necessarily feel like I'm in competition because I'm also like a diehard Peloton. So I just have
Yeah.
my Peloton shirt on the top and my Lululemon leggings on the bottom. But I
Yep.
feel like they're creating an ecosystem. So if anything, I do think Peloton could learn from that,
Yep.
of how to create an ecosystem that is not rooted in competition, perhaps.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot
well,
of sense.
I mean, the Bard Studios, the one that we had here in Columbus, it didn't make it long. Their membership, it was outrageous. And I went to a couple of classes because I knew someone who had a membership, and I guess they were getting free passes to their friends. And I was like, I would never pay that much for anything.
I
That's
think also,
a class.
yeah, to your point, Lavalis, like I said, I have never worked for Lululemon, but I've had lots of interactions with the company at the store level because of my, teaching in yoga. But I think the intention of the company is not just about profit, like profit driven. And what I see them also offering is more, to your point, Lavalis, more accessibility and more access to others, because the yoga studio memberships start at 120 and up. The Pure Barre starts at 120 and up. This dude Pilates starts at 120 and up per month. So if you're a person looking for all of that, is a likely cost prohibitive versus just saying you can purchase the mirror with this membership and get all of those suite of options for you offered by those very same companies that you may want to have a boutique one-on-one contract with.
You know what I like?
Right. That was a smart move on their behalf. Yeah, that was. But again, not a threat to Peloton, like we all agree.
That's what I love about like the path that Lulu's taking with this. It's the same thing I kind of love about the path that Apple's taking with this, is that it's not core for them. Like, right, so they can press towards content and more disciplines and different offerings, but their core business is something else, right? And so it's almost it feels like to me like they can try things. They have less, there's less a risk in it, which also allows them to be more patient. Which is why like I tend to pay attention to all these players. Like it's they can be real patient and tedious about their approach to competing. Which takes me to the last topic. I know I took you guys over already, which is Tonal. What's up? What's up with Tonal? Tonal just like fired everybody, didn't they? What is going on with Tonal? I know that they said like a few weeks ago that they were raising, a couple months ago, that they were raising the price of the device by $500. And now they drop, this week or whenever it was, that they're laying off 35% of their workforce. And my mind is like, are they like, just struggling like everybody else in this space? Are they too like singular category focused and just strength, and people there's just not enough people? I don't know what's up with Tonal.
I don't know, but 35% is a lot of people.
You
That's
hear
a lot
me?
of people. Yes.
How much
And
was
my
the
heart,
Peloton layoff?
What percentage was that? Do y'all
Well,
remember?
they originally said that they were thinking. I remember reading that the assumption was going to be a little over 40%, but I think when they actually did the initial layoff, it wasn't that much. It was I want to say 25%, 20 something percent.
I'm trying to look it up because I don't remember.
So it wasn't the same percentage, but I mean. But their initial talk, when they were initially talking about it, I read that the assumption was going to be around 40%. So I mean, they're in the same ballpark. It's similar.
Well, what they posted was 2,800 people. They didn't. I'm looking at an article now. It doesn't name a percentage.
Yeah,
they just tell you 2,800 people.
Yeah, there was originally insider information that discovered that they were talking about 41%, and then when they laid them off, it was 2,800 people, which equated to like
20%.
about which equated to 20%. Around 20. 20%. I think it was a little over 20% at the time because I think they had.
Well, this article says 20. It could be wrong. It's from Forbes, though.
Yeah, if I remember right, it was a little over 20%. But yeah, so it ended up being lower than they originally said. They said 41 and ended up being lower. But I know they also then like slowly started incrementing out more layoffs. So I don't know. Maybe it ended up being 30% eventually. Mm-hmm. But yeah. So it just feels like they're just not public, so we don't hear it as much. But they're struggling similarly to how Peloton did that.
Exactly. But Peloton be getting dragged by everybody. I'd be like, wow, why does everybody just be dragging us? Like, leave us alone. Let us drink our water and be great. They just can't wait to make an article. It's like, who do they piss off?
Yeah, I mean, you decided to go public.
No,
so
they go the extra mile. Just about all these other companies be public that are struggling, they go the extra mile at Peloton. Ooh, and I have an idea why they think they do it, but I'm not going to say it on here.
Yeah, as it relates to Tonal, I'm just like, it makes me wonder. Like, I know the people who have Tonals, they love them. I mean, it is like, it's clearly innovation, right? But now I'm starting to wonder, with all of the other products that are coming out, with focusing on content and lots of categories, is Tonal like so focused singularly on strength, and that's just too narrow? That is,
I don't know.
I think you're right, John. I think they're kind of like a one-note thing, and I know I've heard from other people that they have other classes that you can take on Tonal. But I don't know if they make enough of a push about those other classes as they really do with the whole strength thing. Because I know, like I've said, I've wanted a Tonal for a while. Nicole, aka Coco Loco, knows this, so she harassed me all the time. And anytime she harassed me and Paul actually. So anytime they drop something new, she'll send it to him. She'll be like, "Look, they just added this, and look, they just added that." But they still seem to really just be a strength piece of equipment without all the other, bells and whistles. So that could kind of be shooting them in the foot.
And I just thought it cost too much. And the subscription, I'm like, really? Plus I got to pay a month? I ain't about that life.
I think to survive... No, Lavelle, I was saying, I agree with you. To survive in this space and in a lot of businesses, you really have to do largen your scale and scope. And the only way to do that is subscribers, different kind of disciplines, different modalities. And when you are just super narrow, I think it's going to be a challenge for them, especially as you can go to Peloton and you've got 7+ different options. You go to the Mirror, you got 6+ different options. It's going to be hard to rationalize just having this particular one piece to a lot of people because they're wanting to cross-train for a lot of things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think.
I also think that Tonal, they had that store in New York City. And I walked into the store to look at it. And I've never had an experience in the Peloton store where like 3 sales reps came over and tried to bamboozle me. And that's how I felt when I went into the Tonal store.
Bamboozle?
Like they all just came over, not bamboozle, they just came over like to accost me. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. They just like accosted me and said, "Oh, oh, you look great, blah, 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 blah. You should really get this piece of equipment. You look like you work out." And I said, "Yeah, I work out." And I had a Peloton. And when I said I had a Peloton, sort of like I pricked the balloon a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And they kept saying, "Well, this is a completely great, adjunct to the Peloton, and you should really get this. And, and I said, well, I already pay a subscription, and, and it's expensive. And not that many people have a lot of wall space, and it's expensive to have it installed.
Exactly.
So, I think that it's a really narrow scope. And I've never been in a Peloton store where, whether they know I have a Peloton or not, where they just go, "Oh, can I help you?" And they're very low key.
Yeah, I think that's it right there.
Sorry.
I think that's it right there. I feel like we're at a time where it's summer and people are getting out, and connected fitness just doesn't sell the same anymore. And every player is feeling the exact same thing. And if you're selling hardware, it's probably much harder. And if you're selling hardware that is over 1,000, well, now one that's over 3,000, it's even harder than that. And I think it's just a sign of a new kind of era.
I'm just like, no, I don't want nothing stuck to my wall, because then I can't move things around, and then again the cost and the other subscription, and I'm just not trying to pay another subscription.
Speaking to the sales staff, I was just going to say, I don't know when you went to Peloton last, but I know when I went, number one, I had to make an appointment. So that's a little bit different. Having to make an appointment, they know you're coming. So I don't know that they're going to be like swarming all over you to sell you something. And number two, I felt like, one, I thought that in general, the Peloton sales staff wasn't that great, because like I told you guys this before, he told my husband that I already had a great treadmill. And I was like, dude, I need you to tell him that I need this Tread Plus. And instead, you're telling him how great my treadmill is that I have at home. I was like, you clearly are not working for the right team. So I just don't know if Peloton staff is necessarily trained to be aggressive as a sales staff, at least not near me in King of Prussia. So the combination of one, having to make an appointment so they knew I was coming, because you had to pick a time, you had to confirm that you were coming, because this was still during like COVID times when they were like really just opening back up. And then two, they just weren't super aggressive. So I don't know if they're just, at the time, they just weren't trained to be aggressive, whereas like the Tonal salespeople maybe are more aggressive.
I think
that's the way they're trained.
I think the Tonal salespeople probably were more aggressive, and it probably aligns to the fact that they just dropped 35% of their staff and just opened a new store in New York City right before they dropped 35% of their staff. I think there's something being pushed down from a sales perspective to tell them we need to sell some stuff like quick. But anyway, let me bring in Kari. What's going on, Kari?
Hey, John. How's it going?
Good. How's it going?
Oh, good. I was thinking about what you just mentioned with the growth of Peloton, connected fitness, some of the opportunities that are going on right now. Could we potentially look at how the sales were ramped from 17, 18, 19 and take out 20 and say that's how connected fitness was going to grow versus the pandemic push? Like, I don't know. I just think that a lot of these companies that are out now, they're expecting the same numbers that they were getting in 2020. And I just don't see that as being realistic.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think, yeah, I don't know if, well, I think they all made companies that existed pre-pandemic, and Tonal being one of them. I just think they made the same mistake. I think Peloton made the mistake. They, I don't remember how many employees they had, 2,000 or something like that, 1,000, 1,500. I don't remember what it was. And then they ramped up to 6,800, 7,000, and they're like, damn, now we got to cut 40% of the staff. I think Tonal just did the same thing. They had 100 employees, and then they went through the pandemic, and now they got 800 employees, and now they're like, oh shit. Now, if you cut out that pandemic year, we don't need all them people. And like, I think they just made the exact same mistake. Yeah. So yeah, I hear you. If you cut that year out, if that year hadn't existed and folks hadn't made those same mistakes, then yeah, maybe it isn't as much that an era is ending. Maybe it's just like, uniform kind of common growth. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not sure. Or, and that's the other side of the coin is, is it just that, it was kind of a moment in time. Was it? Maybe it was a moment in time. And now connected fitness, the shine just isn't the same. So there just won't be that kind of growth anymore. Even the pre-pandemic level growth. That's where I'm wondering. Like, I don't know.
No, I think the growth could still be there. I think it's going to happen organically. It's going to grow, but it's not going to be anywhere near the ramp that we intended to. Well, the ramp that we saw happening in 2020. I think if we take that year out and we can kind of look at, and these companies look at how the growth is going to happen from 2019 to an average growth year, then, like you said, like maybe they wouldn't have hired 700 people additionally.
Right.
And then the growth would have just kind of happened naturally, and they'd be right at where they're at now.
Right. Yep. Maybe. Yeah. Maybe that's the big question in my mind. Yeah. Is it just that, or is there a shine that there was a moment in time thing, and there's a shine that left that just doesn't come back? Like, I don't know which one of those two things it is. What's going on, Marcos?
Hey, John, I know we're over time, so I just wanted to add quickly. I wonder how many people pull the trigger like me. Remember when I sent you that screenshot of the $500 increase?
Yeah.
Like, I was debating back and forth. As soon as they sent that email, which I agree with the salesy, like, I got emails every freaking week, even though I unchecked the box.
Yep.
They were like, are you still interested? Are you still interested? Once I got that email of the 500, like, I just went and got it. I wonder how many sales they got off of that.
Yeah. I think that there's more going on with Tonal. Like, I think they're literally in the same, my gut is telling me they are struggling. There's like a bigger problem happening there. And it's very similar to, what we saw with Peloton. That's what I think. And they're private, so we just don't hear it and we don't know it. And then we just see these little hints of it, right? I think, I feel like there's a big issue happening.
And I think, John, too, because they only have the one piece of equipment, it's a bigger issue for them than it is for Peloton.
I think so, too. I agree with that.
No content either. And then you think about Beachbody is in the same boat as well.
Right. Yep.
I mean, is Beachbody even still around? I have seen nothing about Beachbody or the bike or like anything. Like, are they still here?
Remember, we were hearing all about the Minx bike.
Beachbody had a bike.
Yeah, they bought Minx. They merged with Minx when they went IPO, and then but they barely, when they merged, I think Minx had only ever sold like 6,000 bikes or something like that. And so then Beachbody was gonna was supposed to push that bike, and I don't know if they ever did. I don't hear a lot about the bike anymore. So I have no idea. I don't know. I know the stock just went to, north. I don't know. That thing went south. But I don't know. Jessica Minardi was about to come up. I thought she might know some more about what was happening with Beachbody, but whatever I did, it didn't bring her up. I don't know.
The best thing about Beachbody to me is Sean T. I love that man. Okay. I love myself some hip hop abs. I used to do it religiously.
Okay. A whole bunch of people did.
Used to used to. Let's
see what this crazy person has to say. Let's see what my wackadoo sister has to say right now.
Because the shade that's coming through about Beachbody.
Okay. Okay.
That's not okay.
That's not okay.
Today.
Okay.
What we're not going to do today is that.
Okay,
hold up. Thank you very much.
I love you, Jasmine Hardy, and I didn't say anything about Beachbody.
Oh, that lets me use a button. Hold on. Damn! Okay, that let me use a button. Okay.
And she looks super beautiful in her profile picture.
Okay. She all relaxed in her profile picture. She all chilling.
Y'all start sucking up to her.
Cheesing. There's a little teeny picture and I can see all of her teeth. You know what I mean? Go ahead then. You better go ahead then. You better go.
Beachbody's still around.
Okay.
What bike do you have?
Listen, we're not. Because I've had my bike since 2015. So at the time, Beachbody didn't have the bike. I don't want their little bike, no way. But nonetheless, at the time, Beachbody didn't have a bike.
Oh, okay, that's right.
I still prefer my Peloton bike though. They have the NYX bike. They have two versions, and it's doing pretty good. You're able to do the programs on there. It has like the pivot screen. I don't really love the way that they launch, honestly. I think that it had a lot of shade going on how it launched. But the programs themselves are effective. And I saw in the comments how it was talking about someone was talking about OpenFit. So that was actually Beachbody's other company, which I can talk about till I'm blue in the face. But Beachbody had another sub company called OpenFit that was direct to consumer. So Beachbody right now is kind of like your MLM, and it has the coaches, and then you buy product from coaches, etc. And coaches get a commission, and that's how you get the products. So that's how Beachbody works in terms of like their corporate. They wanted a separate, they as in Carl, wanted a separate company called OpenFit, which is direct to consumer, and you no longer needed a coach in order to get like programs. And they have like a whole bunch of things. OpenFit didn't do really well, and I have my personal feelings on why they didn't do well. But since then, Beachbody has then moved them on to one platform and be on one accord. So that's where all of the new programs came from.
Okay.
So it was originally a Beachbody program. People just didn't really know because they didn't realize what Carl was doing. But it was always Carl's baby because that was always his dream to have like a direct-to-consumer company.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So they're still around. Thank you. But I can say they're not doing...
And she's still riding Peloton.
What up? Listen, because why
I love you.
That's not broke. I prefer Peloton cycling. That's just for me. That's where
Courtney said she thought Beachbody and Beach Sweat was the same thing.
I'm dead. No.
First of all, I really thought that Beach Sweat was a parody of Beachbody.
Crazy.
I stand by it. I can't believe that's a real company.
Y'all are nuts.
It's the SNL skit.
With OpenFit, with them acquiring OpenFit, I don't know if you guys know Lita Lewis. She's been in the fitness game for a long, long time, and she got picked up with OpenFit, and now she's on the Beachbody platform. And I think that's like the biggest excitement that I have is that she's having this opportunity to have a bigger audience because she's a great super trainer, Black woman, amazing.
I heard that.
Yeah.
You know what?
I think what I have learned from the conversation is Beach Sweat and Beach Body are not the same thing. I really thought they were the same thing. I'm so sorry.
Courtney, I even do better than that now, and I don't call anything booty sweat.
Oh,
Usually
I'm so sorry. I didn't know. But this is
so
why
you
you come to this. So you learn.
T is? You don't
No,
know
I don't.
T? I
did not know. I don't.
So
I did not know.
P90X?
I know P90X. I recognize that.
So P90X is Beachbody was...
Oh, that guy from...
No, that's Tony Horton. Nope.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. So P90X is Tony Horton, who is now on Tonal.
Yep.
He left Beachbody and he's now on Tonal.
Yep.
Sean T created programs like Hip Hop Abs, T25, Insanity, Size, which I was on the...
Oh, so Insanity. Okay, the guy from Insanity. Okay, I know.
And I was part of his Size infomercial.
Okay.
So Sean T is a black man. Tony Horton is a white man. Like very different.
Sean T is everything. I love that dude. And you know, Andy Spears used to work at Beachbody. He used to be on Sean T in his videos. That's why I remember Andy from. I said, "Oh, that's Andy from Sean T videos."
Anisha, you in the chat cracking me up. Anisha said, "Lord, they done mixed up Tony and Sean."
I've never heard that mix up before. That's actually the first time. So this is new.
Well, because I was going to ask you, Jessica. So did you? I was going to be like, so did you train with the Booty King? But now they're separate companies.
That's two different companies.
I trained with the King of Fitness. Shanti is an OG, and put some respect on that name.
Okay.
Shanti she does it.
No, now that you say Insanity, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
But I just thought because of all the changes and transformation, I really thought I was like, oh, clearly they're
they have
separate.
another.
So thanks for the knowledge.
That is really dope. Wallace Caesar. He's absolutely incredible, and for me, he trains a lot like Jess Sims. So I think that's why I like him so much. But he's dope. Haitian guy.
You know, I don't think you made that error. I don't think that's just a random error because I think
Courtney stay acting up.
I think the color scheme of Beach Sweat, the symbol, the color scheme of Beach Sweat, the symbol, and the word are all I think that was intentional that they named it in that way to make people kind of confuse it too. So no, I got you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, for sure. Sarah, you feel me? She said we need a flow chart. We do. It's so many different companies. I can't keep it straight. Thank you, Sarah. I feel seen.
I
Yeah,
totally agree that they tried to like use the Beachbody name
that's
though
right. They tried,
to like bolster their brand.
and the,
They
and their
1000% did it on purpose.
and their color scheme, and I mean, they're trying to make it look like more relevant.
Beachbody has been around since 1998, Courtney.
Yeah,
Beachbody was honestly the originator of like at home
Mm-hmm.
fitness. That's how
At
I
home
learned to
fitness.
work at
What?
and
home.
Beach Sweat been
Oh
around
wait.
for 98 days. See,
Well,
that's the
Oh
Good
wait.
night.
I wow,
Wait.
I was
Well,
in the eighth grade in '98, so I didn't
what you
come
trying
up
All
to
right,
say,
with.
somebody
Courtney?
kick her off the stage
Courtney,
right
what are you
now.
trying to
Hey,
That's
John.
say?
some BS.
John.
What are you trying to
1998. I already had
say?
a kid. Somebody kick her off the stage.
Exactly. What are you
okay.
trying to say, Courtney? What are
What's
you
going
trying to
on?
This
say?
is
John, we
Appreciate
need a
me. I
sound.
love
Where's the
y'all.
wah
Don't kick
wah?
me
We need
out.
a wonk wonk wonk. Okay,
Oh, but
what's going on, Kari?
I misspoke. Also, Beachbody was I think the first innovators of digital, because before Beachbody it was Billy Blanks, and trust and believe I had those
You did
doggone
not say Billy Blanks.
yes, I had his
you just did.
VCR tapes.
Gag.
Billy Blanks is that's y'all don't be hating on Billy Blanks.
Now we gotta wrap it up. Y'all be talking about like we're going back in time. I thought we were talking about connected fitness. Now we're not talking about Billy Blanks. Like
Okay,
it's almost 10 p.m. Can we wrap it up?
it's time to go now
Look,
because now we don't brought up bully blanks. Okay, see,
look, don't be like that.
mm-mm,
Y'all know a lot of us are over 40. Come
mm-mm,
on. Don't be that way,
mm-mm.
Stephanie. That's why you call John
My
out.
grand millennial self is like, can we go? I gotta go to sleep. Come
I don't
on.
know what you talking about, Lavalis. I'm 32 years old. I don't even know what you
You
talking
ain't
about.
no 32, man. Stop that.
In your
That's
big
why
toe.
exactly.
In
That's
his
why
relationship.
Jasmine.
that's exactly why she calls you
I,
because you old.
I don't know
I
what
mean,
y'all talking about. I'm 24 years old. I don't even know what y'all talking about. But
Jasmine, we
Wait,
wait.
22.
wait, wait,
John
wait,
22.
John. Wait, someone went way back to Richard Simmons. Come on now with the short shorts. Come
okay,
on now.
I
Take us on
remember
to glory.
him.
okay,
I
listen.
also remember that other lady that used to be on the beach all the time. I used to love hanging out with her too. So these are
Mm-mm,
the things that we had before fitness was digital.
Where is Turn Up Tammy? Because this is getting
mm-mm,
out of control.
mm-mm.
Where
Turn it.
is Turn Up Tammy?
Tammy must be asleep because we ain't
Mm-mm.
It's
heard
past
Tammy
my
hardly yet.
bedtime.
Okay.
I've run out of steam.
Okay, we gonna have to shut this down. I done took y'all over a whole 30 minutes, but and we over here talking about these instructors from like 1991. We gonna have to,
That's all.
it's time to go. It's
They
time
are
to go.
important because guess what? They are the pioneers, honey. Without them, we would have never got here.
She done took it back to VHS tapes. So okay, we gonna have to
I
go.
mean, they the pioneers. I'm
All
sorry,
right,
y'all know it.
Lavalis, I got to mute you.
Moral of the story: Beachbody's still around. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that I knew, but I am still shocked about the whole mix up with Beach Sweat and Beach Body. We had to clear that one up. But all right, y'all. I appreciate y'all coming through. It's always fun talking to y'all. This is the whole intent for us to kind of make it light and have some accountability. We can talk about fitness and have fun with it. Again, I'm sorry I took you guys over. I know it's late and it's a weekday, so I'm gonna let you guys go. If I don't see y'all on the bike or on the tread during the week, then I'm gonna catch y'all on social media or here next week. All right, cool. All right, y'all. I hope you guys
Good
have a
night,
great
y'all.
night.
Good night. Bye.
Bye.
Good
Good
night,
night,
Good night.
guys.
bitches.
Good night.
Good night. See y'all.
Good night, fam.
All right,
That's
fam.
why we
Good
ain't
night,
even
bitches.
Sound your lane, motherfuckers.
Punta.
Two times fit,
we
fam.
had to
Oh
be called
Lord,
bitches.
Oh
I'm
We
out.
had to
Lord.
be called motherfuckers. I'm here for it. I am here for it. Thank you,
Lazy
Janetta.
motherfuckers. Work
Oh my
out.
God. Good night. I'm
Good.
out.
Now you're there.
Good night,
I'm
Janetta.
Goodbye.
here for it. I'm here for it.
Bye bye.